Abraham Shakespeare probably thought he was the luckiest man in the world when he won $30 million in the Florida lottery in November of 2006. But his luck would change in a horrific way. And now this woman, Dorice Dee Dee Moore, is on trial for his murder.
So where do you want to go to?
It don't matter to me. I'm not a picky person.
California? You want a foreign country?
I don't believe
I was
you
trying to do that.
lie.
Thank you.
You don't ask me for you don't protect me. You won't do nothing. You don't care if I'm killed. You don't care. You don't think it's a big deal. You think I've done this. You think I took a gun and shot somebody.
Look at the bright side. If you can convince me, you can convince anybody.
But you think I took a gun and shot somebody.
If you can convince me, you can convince anyone. So
Now
calm
look,
down. I'm not yelling at you.
I haven't met you yet, okay, other than meeting you out in the parking lot, okay? So let's not get off to a bad start, okay? I think we got some things to talk about. Obviously, I've only been involved with the information entailing this whole thing for right at 5 days now, okay? I don't have 10 months of knowledge like Detective Wallace and Detective Clark, okay? When you're talking about two agencies involved with each other, we have unlimited resources. We can find out and accomplish anything we want to do as a collective agency together, okay? Now, I rely on them because this pretty much has been their investigation.
Well, I have lied to them because I've been scared of this man and they don't believe me. I asked for protection.
Okay.
They kept asking me. They knew I was keeping something from them. They knew I kept hiding something. I'm not telling them everything because I am really scared. They don't believe me. I ask if they can give me protection and I tell them. After last night, I didn't care.
Okay.
Once I found out that he really died, I didn't care. I'd rather be dead myself. I don't care. I want him in jail.
All right, time out. This man that you're supposedly scared of, who are we referring to?
The guy's name's Ronald, and Ronald exists. He even threatened. James Shakespeare, I talked to him. He threatened him, because James called me, because he got a threat from Ronald, too. He threatened him so bad that he went to the sheriff's department and filed a false report.
Hang on a minute, okay? 5 days of catching up with this stuff. I've seen a lot of the interviews. I saw your interview from Monday night. Okay, and I'm going to sit here right from the start and let you know I'm not going to sit here and listen to more twists and turns. Okay, we're not going to go down different roads and paths because I don't need to right now. Hang on, hear me out. Okay, I'm gonna sit here and listen to you. Okay, and I want to hear from you. But I want to preface it by telling you I'm not going to be led down the wrong path. I'm not going to be led astray because I'm not going to spin my wheels and waste my time, and I'm not going to waste Polk County's time because you know why? We don't need to. A lot of our questions have been answered now, and now it's time to lay everything out on the table and get to the bottom of it. Okay? And I have my opinion along with Detective Wallace, and we're pretty much on the same page.
I know. He thinks I shot the man. He thinks I took a gun.
Did you hear the part that he said we're on the same page? Keep listening to him.
Okay.
We're on the same page. Okay, so let's just get that clear.
Okay.
All right? Like
You
I said,
think I shot the man, too?
I'm not telling you what I think right now because I don't lay out my cards like that.
Okay.
I'm willing to listen to you to a point. Okay, but when I'm done listening to some more charades, we're going to cut it off right there.
Okay.
All right? Let's not waste our time anymore. Let's not waste his time. Let's not waste my time. All right?
Okay. Well,
because as of right now, listen to me, as of right now, I have a homicide in my county. And I have a body recovered, obviously. And I have a pretty good idea of what happened. Now it's time to lay it out. Right now.
I did not kill that man. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't
Then
pick
who
up
did?
a gun. I told him that is true. James Shakespeare got Ronald come and seen him and scared him so bad that he went. Is that true? Did he file a false report? Did he say that he seen Abraham? He never went up to the sheriff's department.
There's been no report from anybody that he was alive.
None. So he lied to me.
Dee Dee,
Enough of the lies.
Okay. Then he lied to me. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no one's lied to you. In fact, let me give you a hint about James Shakespeare.
Mhm.
I've been talking to him every day since this thing's been going on, and I know
Okay.
that you've approached him about things, and
Okay.
you've offered to pay him money to tell stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Look at me for a minute. Look at me for a minute. Okay? This is very important. Okay? Let me tell you something. None of the little stories like he told you are going to fly anymore. Okay? Honestly, at this point, what you need to start realizing, if you love your son like you love your son, like you tell me you do,
I
okay?
do.
You need to make sure he has at least one parent left on the outside.
He
Okay.
does. James
Listen
did
to me.
nothing.
Listen to me. All right? It's time to start admitting what you did. Honestly. No more games about Ronald. No more listen, no, look at me. Look at me. No more. Don't say another word. Listen to me. No more games about Ronald. No more games about Shaky Sean. None of the stories. None of the convoluted mess. Okay? I have a very good idea of what happened. Okay?
Okay, you tell me. Then.
James Moore did dig that thing. Okay? I know he did. All right? James Moore knows he did. Okay?
Mhm.
I just spent the afternoon with James Moore. Okay? I just left with James Moore.
Mhm.
All right? We know what happened. Now, it's important for you to tell the truth. If you want RJ to have his father out here with him, if you
James
want,
didn't do anything.
if you want RJ,
He dug the hole.
he dug the hole. And
He showed us right where. He physically came over, Dee Dee, and stood to the right of that last oak tree behind that two-story house and did one of these. It was about right here. The scoop was pointing south. The bucket went in, and I pulled the dirt to the north. And that matches exactly with the dig that we had conducted, and we had
And
anthropologists out there, hang on a minute, that lined up the striations in the dirt and said, this is a one-scoop job right here.
And I told Clark that they told me they did not put Abraham in that hole.
Then how in the hell was he in the bottom of that hole?
They lied to me. Ronald and them lied to me. The drug dealer lied to me.
Dee Dee.
I don't
Dee
care
Dee.
if you think
Dee
I
Dee.
did it.
There
Dee
is no
Dee, stop
drug
for a
dealer.
second.
Okay. Well, then why don't you just arrest me?
Dee
If
Dee.
you think I did it,
Dee Dee,
arrest
stop.
me, and an innocent person's going to go to jail.
Dee Dee,
You're-
stop for a
What?
minute and listen to me. Okay? That hole, okay, it was dug in the afternoon of April 7th. Okay? James came back 2 hours later. When he met you there, he dug the hole. Listen to me, don't say another word. April 7th, he met you there. You called him over there, he dug the hole. Okay? You were there alone. Nobody else was around. You called him back at 5:52. I have all of the phone records. You know this. Okay, I know exactly where you were at. I know where he was at. I know where everybody was at. At 5:52, you called him back. He came back over to the house. He filled the hole back in. You were the only one there. You were hot and sweaty. The hole where Abraham was found in yesterday. There were no other holes dug there. We've had anthropologists out there. The color of the soil changes. When you fill back in holes, they don't, the one's light, one's dark. Okay, we have pictures, we have video. Listen to me. We have pictures, we have video. There's no doubt there was only one hole dug in that area. That's the hole where Abraham Shakespeare's body was found yesterday morning. Okay? Dee Dee, I don't hate you like you think I hate you. Okay? I'm telling you right now. I like you, I like your family, I like RJ. For the sake of your son, okay, you made a mistake. Something went very wrong, and we need to know the reasons why. And I'm telling you right now, for the sake of, if you love your son, if you value your son's the rest of his life, it's very important. By you having your husband involved whatsoever, like you did, by having your husband dig that hole, and unknowns to him, bury a body, okay, at your direction, you have put him right in the line of fire.
You put him
and I'm
in
telling
jeopardy.
you, right now,
He is
it's
not
a-
in jeopardy.
without your complete honesty right now, there's a good chance that both you and James Moore will be going to prison for the rest of your lives. Okay? It's important. It is important. The rest of your son's life is on. The rest of your son's life is in jeopardy for right now, for what you say. Now, okay, you have been selfish beyond selfish. Okay, you have done things that the average person would never even think of doing. All right? It's time now to stop thinking about Dee Dee Moore. It's time to start thinking about RJ Moore. It's time to start thinking about James more.
How can you arrest James when I know he can pass a polygraph and he did not have...
Polygraphs
Polygraphs are not admissible. It doesn't matter. Polygraph is nothing.
He knew, he...
Dee Dee,
You better tell us you didn't know and why you didn't,
days.
so you tell the truth.
He did not know.
Then you tell this man the truth about why he didn't know, because you didn't let him know.
Let me preface this again before you say anything, okay?
Mhm.
You reinitiate, you contacted Detective Clark, and you made it very clear to him that you wanted to talk to us.
Mhm.
So that's leading me to believe that you want to make amends and make things right. And like I said, hang on a minute, I don't want to be led down the wrong path, okay, and be led astray from down a path of bullshit. I don't want to hear another concocted story. I don't have time for that.
That James did not know what that hole was, but I really...
And how could he not know?
Because what I did was...
You're looking at a 5 to 6 foot hole. How could he not know?
Because I told him we were burying some concrete. We had buried concrete out there on the property before. If you look in front of that building, there's
What
concrete
building?
buried. There's concrete buried right in front of the brown building to the left.
The one in the middle, the little
Yeah, the
shack
little
looking
one.
thing that has new
There's-
stucco and paint?
Yeah, that one. There's concrete buried right there in the property. On
There's
the
no
property.
concrete buried where the victim was
know-
found, where Abraham was found?
I know that. I know that. What happened was, and I don't care what you say, as far as I know, I didn't pull that trigger, okay? I didn't
Well,
know.
explain to me this issue of this concrete issue. I'm interested in hearing that first.
They wanted to, there was a couple towels that had, got messed up. And,
What do you mean by messed up?
well, because they told me they were going to go get Abraham help, and they put him in the car and told me they were going to take him off in the car and get Abraham help. I went ahead and I called James over and had him dig the hole.
What car?
A black car, and it was sitting over, if you're looking at the house, it was sitting over behind the house on the left-hand side. I told him that I needed a hole dug because that's what the guy told me to do. So I had him dig a hole. The guy was inside. I went out
Is
there.
this day or night, morning, what? I mean,
I don't know. Whenever I called James, I told him to dig a hole, okay? I had James dig a hole, and he dug it. I went back inside, and I went into the blue room, and the two guys that were in the house told me they were going to take care of the stuff, and I said, okay.
and what stuff are you referring to?
Talking about they had some towels and stuff where they had said that they had got blood on and stuff, and I said, okay. So I went back into the blue room because I was very upset. I couldn't handle what had happened, and they went over there and did what they did, and they said they were going to put dirt over it. So just tell him they buried concrete and stuff. So they put some dirt over it and all.
They put or you put?
No, I didn't.
Why were you hot and sweaty when James came back? Like you'd been working?
Because I had been crying.
That's not sweaty. That's
Well,
not
I had
sweaty.
been crying. I had been crying a lot
Dee Dee, hang on a second.
and sweaty.
Dee Dee, hang on a second.
Whatever.
Hang on a
I
second. No, hang on
was upset.
Hang on a second, Dee Dee. Okay. You know as well as I do, Abraham Shakespeare was killed the night of April 6th. Okay.
Is that right or wrong? Is that right? Let's just start off on just these little baby steps. Is Detective Wallace right or wrong? April 6th?
April 6th, and you know that.
2009, April 6th, 2009.
I do not. I told you, you need to go and wait until they give you time of death and check that on time of death.
Yeah, April 6th.
This isn't CSI and
Okay.
forensic files and crap like that, okay?
Anyways, so then I had them come back over and fill in the hole. They promised me he was not in that hole. I know now they lied to me. I always had that inclination.
So you're saying they
meaning the two guys.
partially filled in a hole?
No, well, they just, yeah, just a little bit, and then James came back over and filled it back in, after I.
So let me ask you this,
they put dirt in it to cover everything up, and then James came back and just pushed the dirt over it.
So if James comes back thinking he's pushing dirt back over
Concrete.
concrete, and he doesn't see any freaking concrete there, come on, Dee Dee.
It's dark. It's late. He honestly did not know. He honestly, I swear to you, on a whatever, he did not know. He would not do that. He's been a good man.
Hang on. I had to ask you something beforehand. You know we're at the house. We know we're at both houses. What are the codes to get in those safes? But they should be on a piece of paper on top of there, and if not, Shar knows.
Yeah, Shar left me.
Where is Shar?
He left. He moved him back in with his cousin because he feels like I should have turned this guy in if I knew that he could have hurt Abraham. He thinks that I should have done it back then instead of waiting and being scared of him. And so what if the guy killed me? You know, if he killed Abraham, I should have done something then about it if I knew about it. And he said that, you know, that's wrong. That's a life. And I agree with him. I should have. I was really, really scared. I was very scared.
Let me, I got a couple of voicemails I need to check. I'm expecting some other phone calls. Let me step out for a minute and check that, okay? Wait, do you have tattoos on the bottom of your feet?
No, everybody was giving me, I've never been to prison, and everybody told me I'm going to be arrested because of this, and so they told me that they got to take away all your
Let me see
paper.
what's on the bottom of your feet.
So they told me to write my phone number of how to get out on my foot to my lawyer.
What's on your other foot?
Nothing.
There's another number on it.
Oh, I must have, I forgot to put that one on there.
Alright, well, let me...
It's just phone numbers, because they said that they take away all your paper and everything.
Alright, well, let me
I've
check
never
this
killed
voicemail real
somebody.
quick before we carry on, okay? Hang on.
Listen to me. I'm just telling you, okay? We've got off on other foots here and there, left and right sometimes. Dee Dee, the stories you're giving don't make sense, okay? And if you can't convince me, then you're not going to convince anybody, okay? End of story. Look at me and don't hide your head. Look at me and don't hide your head. Listen to me. Listen to me. You talk way too much. Listen to me. There may be truth in some of the stuff you say, but you do not tell the whole truth, okay? I can tell you right now, look at my eyes. Don't look down. Look at me when I talk to you, okay? You may not have shot him, okay? But I'm telling you right now, you were involved, okay? And you are the one who orchestrated what happened, okay? Now, if you want to come truthful and you honestly want to not spend the rest of your life in jail, because you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to prison. And then you're going to go to prison for a while, okay? Now, if you honestly want to come truthful, and you know the other part is, look at me. Don't bury your face, okay? Let's look at what's happened, because we all know what's happened here, okay? If you honestly want to make things right, okay, and I think you believe in God and you want to repent or whatever, okay, the truth's got to come out and it's got to come out today, okay? No more of the convoluted stories about here and they were hiding in this room and they were this. Listen to me, don't do this. That they were hiding in the room, okay? Maybe they were in the house. Maybe there was someone in the house, but they were there because you had them there. They weren't there because you were scared of them. Dee Dee, listen to me. Listen to me, and don't make these dramatic. And no, stop. The tears and all that don't work.
Why do I want him dead? Why? Tell me.
Because they got you caught.
Because who got me caught?
You got yourself caught.
For what?
For the murder of Abraham Shakespeare.
No, I mean, why would I have him killed? Why would I have him killed? Why would I have somebody come there and kill him?
Dee Dee.
Why?
Dee
Dee Dee what?
Stole all his money.
He did not steal it.
Dee Dee.
Ask Cedric.
Dee
Cedric
Dee.
says I stole it.
Dee Dee.
Cedric, the people that know.
You stole
No,
all
I didn't.
the
I would not
money.
kill him over
Dee Dee.
money.
Dee Dee, listen to me. Look at me and don't get mad. Let's have a normal conversation where I don't have to raise my voice and we don't have to go back and forth. Let's have a normal Dee Dee to Dave conversation, okay? You stole the money, okay? I can prove it, okay?
You can prove
Dee Dee,
it with
look
people
at me.
that tell
Dee
you
Dee,
I
look
stole
at
it.
me. Look at me. I can prove it with paperwork, okay? You never paid for the house. You never paid for the assets. You drew all that paperwork up, okay? You might have had him sign it even, okay? And I don't know, hang on, I don't know the reason why. I don't know if you convinced him that everything was in your name, that Centauria couldn't get it. I don't know how you convinced him to give you everything without paying for it, but you did, okay? I can't fill in that. The only two people that can probably answer that are you and Abraham, and obviously Abraham ain't talking, okay? Keep listening, because I'm going to lay it all out here for you, okay? I'm going to lay it all out here for you. You didn't pay a dime in February, okay? Now your interviews were the, let me rephrase or repeat what happened in your interviews with you, okay?
Mm.
You told me, oh, I bought everything. I said, well, you know, after a couple interviews and I started getting financial stuff, I said, you know what, Dee Dee? I said, I don't see anywhere where you paid that money. Oh, I had cash around my house and I paid in cash. That was bullshit. You know that, okay? You didn't pay, all right? So then in February, you decided to make Abraham Shakespeare LLC, all right? And it was you and him and Judy, and you were going to make him, and you were going to get his last money for the annuity, and that money was going to go into an account where you and him had access to, okay? So you made the meeting minutes, and you sent them off to Bank of America, okay? And then who was present? You, Judy, and Abraham Shakespeare were present, okay? And what was the purpose of the first meeting on February 10th? When he deposited the $1.095 million, the purpose was to put Abraham Shakespeare on the account, to be able to draw money out of that account, okay? All three of you were present for this meeting, and you sent it to them. Well, you know, they keep financial records forever. They never go away. So I have a copy of that, a certified copy of that,
Mm-hmm.
okay? There was no activity on that account for 7 days. But on February 17th, you sent another meeting minutes. Of course, this time, the only person attendant was Dorice Moore, the leader of the band, the president or CEO of the company. And what was the purpose of that meeting? Oh, that's right, Abraham was under investigation for criminal wrongdoing and fraud and everything else. And he needed to be taken off of that account, okay? Then miraculously, the very next day, Dee Dee, $250,000 goes to ASTAT, goes to Shar's company. $250,000 goes here, $200,000 goes there, $220,000 to American Medical Professionals. All the money starts going around. Then miraculously, wow, what's happening then? Oh, well, it's time to get Char Corvette. Oh, it's time, don't say anything, it's time to get Char Corvette. It's time to get a trade-in, or it's time to get a new Hummer. It's time to get a new this. It's time to buy a house down on Highway 60, okay? I have financial records for all of that, every single bit of it. Okay, no, don't say anything. I told you I'll lay it out. All right? Now use your mind and think about it real long. You stole every dime of that. You took nice trips to Vegas. You did all these things, okay? You never had means for all that before. You know, you got greedy. You got greedy.
I had lots of trips
Dee
before
Dee,
that. I had Falling Water. I
Dee
had
Dee,
California.
Dee Dee,
I had New
Dee Dee,
York.
listen to me. You had a decent, you don't let me finish. Because if you let me finish, you'd hear the rest of what I had to say, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You had a decent business going. Decent, okay? Nothing fantastic. Not the $4 million that you talk about. Not the $3 million. Not the way you portray yourself as this lavish, rich and famous. No, you had a pretty good business. And you know what? Had you been content with that, you'd be living a pretty decent lifestyle right now. You'd probably be living still in Walton Lake. You might have found your house somewhere over there, and you'd be living good, okay? But something about you. There's something about you. There's something deep down in your heart or in your mind. It's greed, and it just gets to you. And you need more and more and more. And you take advantage of people, and you con them, and you do whatever you can. And you did it to Abraham. Abraham was the ultimate mistake. You know, you got the $1.095 million, okay? You had it, okay? That's in February. You spent, don't shake your head, because you know what I'm telling you is the truth. You know
Records
what
don't lie. Financial records
Yeah,
don't lie.
but if you talk to the people.
Listen, finish listening to
Dee Dee,
me.
there's no one to talk to, okay?
Okay.
You've gone on for months and you said, talk to this person, and you talk to that person, and talk to here. You know what? I've done it. I've talked to all these people. I've sat down. I sat down with your family. I
My
sat
mom
down,
and dad?
listen to me, I sat down with your sister, and your brother-in-law, okay? Guess what? The whole family was wondering, where the hell is she getting this money?
Mm-hmm.
She's never had money like this before. She had a little money, it was okay, but my God, she just moved into $1 million home. She just got this, she just bought him a new Corvette, she just got this, okay? But of course, you know what? You're their daughter, and you're their sister, and you're this stuff, and they want to believe you. Nobody wants to believe that what could have happened, what's going on. So they, no, don't, but, just listen to me. They all wanted to believe you. You know, James wanted to believe you. Everybody wanted to believe you. But somewhere in your mind, something happened, something snapped and something clicked, and you did this. You took the guy's money, you got everything in your name, and all of a sudden, wow, it comes up to April time. You know, you go and you get a power of attorney for Judy, this and that, everything leads to another, and then miraculously, 2 days afterwards, guess what happened? Abraham Shakespeare gets killed. Not only does he get killed at your office. He gets killed with your gun.
He gets buried on
your property, and you pour a slab within a week later right over where he's at. There's only one hole dug. It was dug by your ex-husband. Prior to that, you wanted the hole dug right behind that house.
Mm-hmm.
Right behind the house.
That'd be awfully convenient.
Because you can reel the body right out there and throw it in. But James tells you, no, I can't dig it here. There's too many pipes and shit going around here.
Electrical pipe. That's too close to the foundation of a house.
Of a house. So guess what? We're gonna have to build it. So you walk him out and say, okay, well let's put it right here. So you do. You dig it out. And unfortunately, Dee Dee, with that little plan you had, right now I've got supervisors and people higher up in the sheriff of this county that want to not only lock you up, they want to lock away James too. And guess where that leaves RJ? Without a mom and a dad, because you wrapped him into this whole thing. Okay.
15 years old. Didn't he just celebrate a birthday? He just turned 15.
And these little things, these stories about these people, you know what? I may halfway believe it. There may have been somebody else involved, okay? But do you know why they were involved? Because you got them involved. It wasn't a drug deal going bad. It wasn't a drug deal gone bad. It wasn't some kind of robbery. If it was a robbery, it was one you set up, okay? You know what you did? You went over to his house that night, you picked him up, and you told him, hey, we're going to go meet Judy at the Hard Rock. And somewhere on the way there, you decided, oh, hey, I got to go down to my office down in Plant City. Abraham thinks, okay, we're going to stop by there on the way to going up to Hard Rock. Judy was at the Hard Rock waiting for you guys.
She was pulling the slots.
I got video of her pulling the slots that night. So you go over there, you fill in the blanks, because Abraham gets killed that night. Then what happens? 2:55 in the morning, you decide to call Judy. So you call Judy and you have a 53-minute conversation because you're freaking out at this time. You know, your whole plan's into motion, but God dang, we got to figure out what's going to happen. So then the next day, after his dead body lays there in your place, overnight, you call James and you get James to dig these holes and do this and you cover it up, and a week later you get cement laid over the thing, and then all of a sudden you start making text messages to people and you start calling people with his phone, and you get all this thing going for months and months and months. And my God, you thought you got away with it. You thought you had gotten away with it all the way through November. And then we get involved. And then you try like hell for 3 weeks. You try like hell with us. I text him right here, and he calls me back in a couple days. And I talked to him on October 6th with my lawyer. I was right there, and I talked to him. Oh, my lawyer talked to him. Oh, yeah, he's fine. He goes off on here. He's with this girl. He left with that girl. Think about the convoluted stories that you came up with the whole time. And then what did I do? I showed you where you lied. I showed you where it was wrong, and you came honest then. Not because you wanted to, but because I had the proof right in front of you. I had to spoon feed you and show you everything that happened. And then you said, yeah, you're right, I had the phone. Oh, but Abraham wanted me to have the phone because Abraham knew that you watched CSI and he knew you were going to track him, you know. And then I talked to you and I said, you know, but I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you the truth from now on. From now on, Mr. Detective Wallace, I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay, the very next breath, hey, Dee Dee, would you ever pay anybody any money at all to say they've seen Abraham Shakespeare? I wouldn't do that, Detective Wallace. No, I wouldn't. You wouldn't give somebody a house to say they saw Abraham Shakespeare? Nah, Detective Wallace, I wouldn't. I would never do that. Dee Dee, me and Clark, Dee Dee, would you give her a house? Would you do that to Centoria Butler? Oh, she's a liar. I'd never do that. Well, guess what? Here's the audio tape of you guys talking. Okay, I did, but God, it's just because you guys are driving me crazy. You're ruining my life. That man's away from here, and he's on here. He's away from here because he wants to be away from here. I've talked to him. He doesn't want to be here. I just can't do it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? And it goes on and on. So then what happens? What happens? December 27th comes around, and you go over. I mean, you want to talk about devious? Come on, Dee Dee. You went and picked up his mother. You took her out to dinner. You had Greg Smith call the phone and talk to his mother and say he was Abraham Shakespeare. You had Greg Smith do this, okay? Oh, don't tell the police, Mama, because they're just out looking for me. You orchestrated everything to be said to Miss Walker, a 70-something-year-old woman whose son is laying rotten underneath your freaking cement
I
pad.
was scared.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay, let me finish. So you do that. Okay? Well, you know what? Miss Walker called us because we've been talking to Miss Walker. Miss Walker says, hey, I don't think it was my son. So what do? I find out the number that it calls from, and I know it's Greg Smith. So what do? I go hunting down Greg Smith, and where do I find Greg Smith the very next day? I find him at Lakeland Mall meeting with you in the parking lot, and I watch. And then he goes from there, and he goes over to the Radio Shack where he buys 2 new phones because, we're listening to your phone, and we know everything. So you need to get 2 new phones because you're living this secret lifestyle. You're trying to deceive everybody. You know, so as soon as you leave there, I follow Greg right down into the hood, and guess what? I pull Greg over, and I say, Greg, guess what? You got a choice here, son. You got 2 things. You can either jump on board with me, or you can go right down the river with somebody else. And guess what Greg said? I'm on board with you, Mr. Wallace. I'll do anything you say. From that point on, Dee Dee, every time he met you, I recorded it. I've got a recording of every conversation when you're sitting in the car at the mall talking. When you guys met at Denny's in Plant City, I was watching the whole time. I was right there. Every single time. I've got the audio tapes to prove it. Okay? So then you come up with this plan where you want to write the letter. You get the hotel right there right there by the mall. You go up and you type this letter. And I've got it all on audio where you're typing it. And you're making fun and say, how does this sound? And you go on. And then you go and drop him off to go put it in her mailbox. Well, you know what? It didn't go in her mailbox. It went straight to me because I was watching that night. And then you come back down where you parked at the Waffle House that night because I was sitting in the damn parking lot watching. I was sitting right there. So I get the letter, this nice 2-page letter from an illiterate man talking about how, Mama, I can't believe you didn't know it was my voice. I've got the letter. So you go to that extreme and you're laughing and joking about it and you're getting excited. So, you know, a couple days go by and you get a little nervous because you haven't heard nothing about this letter. Not a thing. So we make it be known to you that, she got the letter, you know? Because guess what? The whole time that Detective Clark was talking to you, I was listening every time. You know, when you thought that he was, like, not paying attention to me and you thought he was on your side, no. Me and that man are brothers, okay? Mm-hmm. There ain't nothing that he does that I don't know about. There ain't nothing I do he don't know about, okay? So then he tells you and he lets the little bag out. God, you know, what about this letter? Her pastor called and said this. Oh, well, guess what? You get excited at that point. You start thinking, hey, this might have worked. This might have worked. But no, let's go on. So it gets a little deeper. Grady Judd decides to do some news conferences. Things are getting a little worse, and you start getting desperate. You start getting real desperate. So what do? You go to Greg again. Hey, Greg, do you know anybody that might be able to say they did something? Now, this is when it finally changes from we got to convince everybody Abraham's alive to I got to figure out because shit's coming down on me.
Right, it's panic mode now.
So you go to Greg and you say, Greg, listen to me. I got to know.
No, it's because Cedric...
Let him know. Finish. Don't come up with a story. Just listen to me.
Okay.
So you go to Greg. Hey, Greg, do you know anybody? Do you have anybody that might be going to jail for a long time that might take the rap and say they did something to Abraham Shakespeare? Well, Greg, yeah, he knows somebody. He knows undercover officer from Lake Wales, Mike Smith. Yep. I guess we'll meet at the Coles in his white car. That's an undercover officer. Well, you know, that's the same guy that you tried to say was one of the people to Clark the other night. Of course, that was shot down. So anyway, you meet with him. You're going to pay him $10,000 now and $40,000 over the rest of the year to say that he killed Abraham Shakespeare. But there's only one problem. When it comes time for him to confess to this man or to me, guess what he's going to have to do? He's going to have to produce a body. More importantly, he might even have to produce the gun. So you meet Greg on Monday morning, right over there in Plant City at Turkey Creek. Well, you meet him at the mall to begin with. Then you meet him over at Turkey Creek. And then you go down to your mom's house. You go a few places. I watch you the whole time. You know, I'm following right behind you. You're not very good. You don't pay attention. Whatever. You've done a few things. You tried to... A couple of times I followed you. You stopped at Walmart parking lot and waited 15 minutes before you went down to Stitzel's office after you wrote the letter that night. I sat right across the street and watched you. Anyway, let me get back on point. So you give him the gun. You know, the gun that you bought at the gun show in Tampa. You know, there's records and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you thought Greg was going to file off all the serial numbers and bury it somewhere else, and his buddy Dee was going to bury it somewhere else and say the gun's over here and this and that. But that's not enough. We still need the body. So about 2 hours later, you meet him there again. He gets in the truck with you. You go right down to the property. And what do? You walk him right out. Not anywhere else. Not over here, not over there. The piece of iron. Bam. Right under here. You got to dig down from the side. You got to get it. I'm going to have my mother-in-law or Char's mom come have dinner with us tonight. There's not going to be anybody here. And I got it all planned out. I got the trailer with everything in it.
Supplies,
I got the
nice
supplies.
big galvanized tub, bleach, gloves.
It's all there, and you angle it. Then you go over to James's house and you get the boat. Oh, shit, guess what? There's another reason that it looks pretty bad for James. Now he's got the boat. Now he's really tied into this thing.
You come up with this concocted story about having a cover made or something.
You know, all this stuff. So you got it just set up. You walk the CI. It's all on audio. He's right there. He's right there. And then the story was, they were trying to rob him. I was going to say, you're going to rob him. Things went bad. You want to whisper, we get them all. You know, we got good things. Right in there. Right in my office. With my gun. And he goes on. Dee Dee, it's all over. It's all over.
Any name that you have been throwing out in this concocted story, going back to Monday night, we pretty much have ruled a lot of these folks out. We ruled them out. That's what we get paid to do, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee, I know it's just like you, okay? There's some problems here, all right? It's time for you, no, don't butt. Don't butt. Believe me, do not butt, okay? Look, everything collapsed on you. It's done, it's over with. You know everything I've told you from the very beginning is the truth. The whole truth and nothing but it. And now is your time, okay? Because I'm telling you, you're going to be judged in this lifetime. But even more importantly, you're going to be judged in the next. Okay?
You got that 15-year-old boy to think about.
You got a 15-year-old son, and I'm telling you right now, with the plan you came up with, I don't think you ever in your life thought it would all come down like this. But I ain't lying to you. You know how Sheriff Judd is. And I'm telling you right now, him and Sheriff G are running the same way. And they want to put everybody in jail. And they're coming after you. They're coming after your husband, your ex-husband. Okay? Personally,
How can they come after him?
I just
You're going to
explained
have
to
to
you
prove to us
with the truth.
with a valid statement that is the truth. If you're saying he is not involved, then I want to hear.
Why
I want to hear the truth why he's not, and you're going to have to do some proving to make us believe that he's not implicated in this whole thing. Detective Wallace just orchestrated and laid out a 10-month timeline of some very in-depth investigation. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of man-hours of an entire unit from a large sheriff's office. Like I said, between the two offices, we have unlimited resources. Okay, you've got probably the top 2 sheriff's offices in the south end of Florida on this one case.
Probably
okay, it's not going to get by. It's not going to get by.
It's just time.
The book has been opened, the page is laid out, we know it all.
And
You're
you helped
smart.
me.
You're a smart woman.
You're a white lady. You actually gave him money to pay. It started off
You're a
innocently.
business
I'm not-
owner. You
I'm not
already have
telling you.
this.
It started off innocently, but what killed you was greed. You know it, and I know. Dee Dee don't
A
know.
big
Listen
dollar
to
sign
me.
can take over thoughts
Listen to
and
me.
impulses.
Like that.
Yes, it was.
wasn't. I promise it wasn't.
Dee Dee, you spent every dime. And guess what happened? No, listen to me. He went to family members before it happened, and he said, something ain't right. This white lady, something ain't right. And he figured it out. There wasn't no money left to pay him back.
He told me to buy a house on 60. So if he when
He didn't quit to, look, I'm not
he
worried.
wanted the investment. I was supposed to give him the cash.
Dee Dee.
When the paintball field started running, I was supposed to give him the cash.
Dee Dee, just listen to me. None of that really matters. Talk about why he killed him, why it happened. Get James out of it. Stop all the stories.
James
Save yourself.
nothing.
Hold on. Save your son's future. Because right now, it's a future without a mother and a father.
Okay, well,
At
James,
least get it to where there's a father around.
James had nothing to do with it, but I did not kill that man.
Well, then explain it with a real explanation, not some convoluted this and that.
Explain
real
to us of how
explanation.
James is not involved.
And not your stories.
I told you how. He didn't know. He had no clue.
What was in that hole with Abraham's body that would not have allowed James to walk by a 6 foot, probably, it was more like a 7 to 8 foot length hole, rectangular dugout hole or trench as I should note it as. I would say a trench.
Yeah.
By probably about 3.5 to 4 feet wide, with a body placed so nicely on the side. And how in the hell could James not see that?
Because he got right onto the excavator. He didn't pay attention to that. He was just there to fill in the hole. He would not ever do something like that. James would never, ever, ever. He is a person that we divorced because I helped every lowlife, every person. I never would say no to anybody. I helped everybody. I took in stragglers. I helped everybody I could. I would pay other people's car payments when they couldn't pay them.
Well, I don't
And he
think
got
that's the
tired of
basis
that.
for your divorce, and that's neither
Yeah.
here nor there, because we had a long, extensive conversation with James, and I kind of know why. And we know why the divorce
Why?
happened. Probably for some infidelity with Shar.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
No, he was cheating on me. James was cheating
All
on
right,
me. and
that's neither here nor there.
We're not worried
Okay.
about that. We're here about Abraham Shakespeare.
He's the
And the
focal
truth.
point of this, and we're after the truth. And from your stories that you were
I'll
divulging on Monday night,
sign a sworn statement. James did not have
Dee
any.
Dee, I'm not worried about sworn statements from you. I need the truth from you, not sworn statement. A sworn statement from you with
But
as many
you
lies as you told
don't
or
believe
nothing.
me. You don't believe me that there was someone there. I had.
No, Dee Dee. I believe you that there was someone there, okay? But I believe you set the whole thing up. I know you did. Are you gonna tell me, look at me. Are you gonna sit here and tell me that after you coaxed him to go to the Hard Rock Cafe, that the one night that or the Hard Rock Casino,
He
when
liked to go there.
listen to me. Don't try and
Okay,
justify shit
okay,
and listen
okay.
to me,
Okay.
okay? The one night, it happens to be April 6th, that you decide you're gonna go meet Judy, you set it all up, you're gonna pick him up, and you happen to have to go by your office on the way there, that night, somebody has mysteriously gotten there and is gonna rob you. Come on, there's not 12 people that's gonna believe that story, okay? Look, stop with the silly stories. It
He
was a
had
set
all
up.
his stuff that he moved out of his house. He was moving. He had boxes that he had moved out of his house.
yeah, we know about those boxes,
Okay,
and we know about what happened to those boxes.
What happened to the boxes?
Joseph Resendez moved those boxes after he was dead.
Who's Joseph Menendez?
Joseph Resendez, that would be Shannon Gunn's brother, the one that worked for you. Okay? Shannon Gunn, the same one that you let drive Abraham's car around,
Mm-hmm.
the same one that I've talked to.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what night that was?
Mm-hmm.
That was April 7th. So you
They
take
asked-
Abraham's car and have her drive it around Plant City until you got to get it back a couple days later, his car, and you're so worried and scared that now you've got to get that car, and you've got to take that car and sell it to get Char's truck. You know, you didn't live the life of somebody who was scared, Dee Dee. Okay? Not only that, as soon as he's dead, what do? You move on into his house. As soon as
If
he's
you were
dead, you
so
move into his house.
scared of these individuals, why the hell would you move into this man's house and put your
Because it
15-year-old
was
son
safe.
in there?
Because it was safe, because if you can't get past that first gate.
I don't buy that.
Oh,
I don't buy that.
Dee Dee.
Give me a
It
break.
was.
Dee Dee.
It was safe.
Dee Dee.
So somebody that you're
You
scared
didn't live
of,
the life of a scared woman. Not at all. Dee Dee.
Look at how much money I had
Dee
to
Dee.
take out of the bank and give them. Look at my bank account that says Abraham Shakespeare. Months later, I'm still writing them out to Abraham Shakespeare.
Because you want to make it look like he's alive. That's why you did all that, Dee Dee. You've spent all this money. Come on, Dee Dee. The stories have got
Okay,
to
how about
end.
Cedric? What about
Yeah.
him with all that?
Okay, let me tell you something.
Okay,
Let me tell you something about Cedric.
Okay.
This is probably the only smart thing Cedric's ever done in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Every conversation that you have with him, Cedric recorded. And guess what?
You aware of
Tuesday
that?
night, he gave them to us. And we listened to him. And guess what you were doing with Cedric? You were telling him the same silly-ass stories you were telling us. We've got it all on tape.
You're basically almost to the point of blackmailing the guy about his house.
About his house. If you
And
don't
he-
go to the police and tell the police that you've seen him, I'm going to kick you out of this house, but I'll sign the house over to you. If you go to him and take back your story, I'll sign it over. Oh, hey, I got something else. I got the affidavit you wanted him to sign. He gave that to me too. Dee Dee, that's not going to fly either. Let's go to the next story.
That recording had your voice on there saying that Abraham wants Cedric out of that house. And then Cedric has the notion to say, if he wants me out of this house, have him come here and tell me. Or better yet, if he's texting, supposedly, have him text me his picture. That's pretty damn crafty. You know what? That just removed him from that whole scenario, Dee Dee. It's mine.
Dee Dee, your stories have all fallen off. You can't come up with a new one. The only story that's going to last now is the truth. I'm telling you, it's all done. Okay? The minute this guy dies, you move into the house. Because you know what? The day before he was killed, Courtney was still living there. And guess where I was last week when you called me? Remember when you called me and I was at lunch and you were talking to me? I was in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta with Courtney. Okay? Courtney had to go over to St. Petersburg. She left that Saturday or Sunday before he got killed on Monday. She left and was going to St. Petersburg with her friend. And she was living with Abraham at the time. And guess who wasn't living with Abraham at the time? Dee Dee Moore. And guess what happened? She left and Judy was supposed to go pick her up. She talked to Abraham the night before he died. Then April 6th, she keeps trying to call him, can't get him. Well, she does get a hold of you. Oh, and you told her, oh, Abraham left with that girl from Publix. That girl from the store. Well, you know, we've talked to her. She's married, lives in South Lakeland still. We've talked to her several times. So he didn't leave with her. So guess what? She has to get a bus, come back here. And guess what? I've got all those dates from the bus rides. So then she comes back and Judy picks her up and takes her out to the house. Where she goes inside, guess what? Dee Dee and her family's done moved into the house. So your frightened ass person who's just been, oh my God, Abraham's been killed in front of me. Hey, let's pack all our shit and move over there.
Let me move my 15-year-old son in there and put him up in what, like a guest suite
guest
apartment
suite,
all by
away from
himself?
me.
Oh, it's so safe around these drug dealer robber guys that just murdered somebody in my office, and I'm in fear of them. Alarm, come on, give me a break.
Then it takes us 30 minutes to get to North Lakeland.
And I did not move right in. You got to look at the date. I did not move right in.
Dee Dee.
I was not in there and moved in. When she come up, I didn't move in until like a month later.
No,
A month.
You were there. You were there.
I have
And
to
here,
look
listen
at
to
the
this.
date.
And it was funny. Here's the other funny part of this that just doesn't, unbelievable. None of this makes sense. None of your story can make sense at all. It's just over. Just tell the truth. Don't make me sit
What
here
were
and
you
keep
saying?
going.
Something else. Go ahead. Say it.
Dee Dee, why do I need to keep going?
No, say
I've
it.
told it all. I've told it all.
Well,
I'm tired of telling.
the money card, he did that. I told you, so he wouldn't have to pay gift tax. He didn't want that.
He gave you everything he had and said, don't pay for me because
He
I don't
did-
want to pay the gift
He
tax.
doesn't want to pay
Gee,
the
that
gift
makes
tax.
a lot of sense.
Because I'm supposed to hold on to it till he comes back. He's supposed to be getting money when he wants. And he did. He got money when he wants. But you
Hang on a
can't-
minute, he's not coming back because we just dug him out of your property.
You knew that. You knew that from the get-go. You told the CI on the tape. Dee Dee, you knew he was dead on April 6th. You had the hole dug for him to die to be buried in. You went as far as to have concrete poured over top of where it was at.
I think a 30 by 30 foot concrete slab. Now, what would you say? Maybe 8 to 9 inches thick?
Oh, it was $5,000. I got the invoice. I talked to that guy. who
That's
poured
a
it.
hell of a concrete slab to cover. And not to mention,
I was
they didn't even really
building a
form the
shed
stuff
there.
out. They
It
just threw it over grass.
Yeah, but it was for the boat and and the other thing.
Yeah, okay, you could have put the boat and whatever else you buy and put a little
cover,
patio,
I got an
grill area.
estimate to
Okay,
what
that's neither here nor there. That's something you would
building.
use functionally after the fact that you have this concrete to solidify the fact that you got a human being buried on your property thinking, gee, nobody's going to find this guy buried underneath this $5,000 30-foot by 30-foot 8-inch thick concrete slab.
Dee Dee, this isn't one you can talk your way out of. The only way out of this, the only way to save your son, the despair of losing both parents, is to tell the truth to Greg right here.
I told you, James had no clue that.
Okay, all right. Let's just remove that aspect of this conversation out of there. Okay, I'll chew on that. I'll chew on the fact that James has nothing to do with it. I'll think about that and chew on that, but I'm having a hard time believing that. And you've got a lot of convincing and proving to do, since this case is now involving my county, and I'm tasked with the investigation of the homicide of Abraham Shakespeare.
Didn't you give him a lie detector test? Can't you lie detector?
We don't need to tell you what we did or not. We're talking about you and the fact that you got a 15-year-old child that's potentially got to lose both parents to a prison sentence.
But you don't believe me that I didn't kill him, so lock me up, and I'll prove in court I didn't kill him.
Because if you tell me the truth, because if you tell us the truth right now, what you tell us will depend on our forensics that we just uncovered, the scenes that we have just processed, and we will know whether or not, hang on a minute, let me finish. We will know if you are telling us the truth.
Why can't you, from forensics, measure my height?
We want to hear it.
Measure my height, and what gun, and what velocity.
We want to hear it from your mouth.
Measure it from me.
And we shall know whether or not you are spinning another bullshit story, or if you are telling us the truth then. And then maybe that will rule out James, as you say he's not involved. Maybe that will rule him out, depending on what you tell us, and we're going to know from the get-go if it's bullshit or not. Okay, we have been at your property since frickin' Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
You've had 2 sheriff's offices and multiple crime scene investigators out there for a week, and we're not done yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're going to play around there some more and get exactly what we need. Do you think we're just out there eating, barbecuing, having coffee every morning?
Get whatever you need. I didn't do it, so take me to jail.
Well, it sure as hell looks like you did.
Well, take me to jail and I'll prove it in court.
Let's hear your rationale. Let's hear your reasoning.
You don't believe me.
No, I'll entertain your
You don't believe
story.
me. My lawyer will get to the bottom of it, and he will get the truth, and it will be in court.
I told you I'll listen to you.
Go ahead and go to jail.
I told you I'll listen to you.
You don't believe me.
Because you haven't said the truth yet. Okay? You think about this. Here's what I was going to tell you a minute ago. Okay? To believe your story, 2 murderous thugs killed Abraham Shakespeare, but they're going to leave you a witness alive. They didn't care about killing Abraham Shakespeare.
I could still get them more money out of the banks. Look at the amounts of checks I wrote out. Look at, where did I spend all that money?
Was there even any money left?
Look at all that cash.
At that point, was there even any money left?
Plenty. And look at all that cash, and look at how many times I took cash out so they could get more money from me that they would come up and get.
Dee Dee, I know where all the money went. I watched it all. I got a whole list of where your money went.
Okay, how about all the money that went to Cedric? Did he give you a list of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Cedric didn't do. Dee Dee, we know Cedric's not involved.
I know that. I just wanted to make sure he...
No, you wanted to tell us he was involved until you found out that we had...
Because I wasn't sure he wasn't the one that sent them, because he really worried me.
Are you serious?
And I found out he wasn't, but I always knew.
5 minutes ago,
I always knew.
5 minutes ago, if I hadn't told you that we had the audio tapes, you were going to tell us it was Cedric.
No,
you were going to tell... Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, Dee Dee.
I was not. I was saying that I thought there was somebody that knew what kind of money that was out there. There was somebody, either family, friend, something knew what kind of money was out there. And that's whoever knew sent them out there.
Dee Dee, you spent all that money.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
So you're talking about when I got out $5,000 and $10,000 cash, what do I have in my house that I have spent $5,000 and $10,000? Most of that stuff I put in my house, I bought before I even got there. Look at what my Stevenson house looked like before. Look at the pictures on the
Stop,
of my
don't fucking yell at me. I haven't yelled at you once today.
Yes, you've been good. I won't. Sorry.
All right? The stories aren't working. I'm trying to tell you. And if you would sit there and open up your mind and really think, you would understand that that 20 minutes conversation that I gave to you puts you in jail for the rest of your life.
It's over. It is over. Now, just a few minutes ago, you said that we won't listen to you and all that stuff. And I said, I'll entertain your rendition. I'll listen to you. You came here on your own free will to talk to us. Did you not? Did you not text Detective Clark and say you want to talk to him and the Hillsborough County detective over the
No,
case?
he asked me if I wanted to.
Well, it looked like the text was sent to him in that response that you wanted to talk to us. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, but I didn't know it was going to be the same thing where you didn't believe me, for there was somebody else there that
I
saw
never
him.
said I wasn't going to believe you. I'm relying on the investigation that we have done for 1 week at your property.
Shot a man, dragged him all the way by myself over to a hole that's clear across the way. I've seen it beside of freaking blood. I couldn't be an RN or an LPN. I went to EMT school, and because of EMT school, I realized I didn't like blood. I didn't like being around it. I worked as a CNA. I opened up my own shop so I didn't have to.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a body all the way over there by myself.
Dee Dee, here's the problem. There may have been somebody else, but it's not like you're saying, okay? Abraham was killed the night of April 6th. He wasn't buried until April 7th, okay? So you're going to tell me you see a guy get killed in front of you, in your place with your gun, then you go home with Shar, okay?
I go home with Shar.
You go home to Shar that night, and then you come back the next day to two guys that are still waiting for you with a dead body, okay? You don't call the police. You don't do anything, okay? None of that. You're going to actually think that a jury is going to believe that crap. Oh, because, hang on, hold on, let me answer. Because they threatened to hurt my son. Well, how exactly would they have hurt your son had you driven to your house, dialed 911, and said, these people are at my house with a dead body now? Guess what would have happened? They would have been arrested that day.
Yeah.
So how could they have hurt you? How would they have hurt you?
They put a gun in my mouth. I peed my pants. I peed my pants. I was scared. I don't care. Just arrest me.
No, hang on a minute. I don't want to just arrest you. I want the truth, okay? Hang on a minute. You all right?
Yeah.
Hey, in fact, you come over here, okay? Listen to me, okay? You come over here. We're all adults here. You want to talk, okay? You let Detective Clark know and all that. Yeah, I've never met you. Okay, this is the first meeting, okay? And I see, you're emotional, you're getting up and down. I just want to make sure all's on the up and up. Have you been drinking anything today or anything? I mean, do you use any type of prescriptions or narcotics or anything like that?
No.
I'm just asking. That's part of my job. Okay?
I'll be willing to take a drug test.
I'm not asking you to take a drug test.
I don't do anything bad in my life. I never have done drugs, and I don't even drink and drive. Okay. And I'm getting charged with murder, something I didn't even do.
Did you see an affidavit here? Did I say anything about being charged with murder? Did I?
No.
Okay. We're talking. We're just talking. Am I right or wrong?
I know, but you're convinced and he's convinced.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm convinced in the fact that we're not getting the truth. That's what I'm convinced in. That's what Detective Wallace is convinced in. But we're convinced in other aspects because evidence, evidence is a convincing factor. Evidence doesn't lie. Forensic sciences don't lie.
But
the truth is right out there at the property.
Abraham lived that kind of lifestyle. He was very giving like that. If you look at everything, he gave away $11 million in 2 years' time. $11 million. So look at all of those other people.
Listen, I have no doubt that Abraham Shakespeare gave out money. I've talked to a lot of people in the past week. I've talked to almost as many people as Polk County has interviewed and talked during the course of their 10-month investigation that we've had to go out and re-solidify statements with. We've been pretty much working around the clock this week on this, now that it's developed to the point it has on your property. Hence, we're sitting here and you're dealing with two agencies and say, well, hang on. And I have no doubt that Abraham Shakespeare was generous with his money. I mean, some may call it foolish, some may call it extravagant, some may call it just out of the goodness of his heart. I didn't know the man, so I can't make that type of opinion, but I do know that he gave his money away, basically. That's pretty admirable, giving away all that kind of money.
He did.
Whether or not it was under false auspices of maybe somebody, you know, telling him to do this or that with it, or, you know, he himself not being very knowledgeable or, you know, having the ability to understand what he was doing with that amount of money, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Point is, yeah, a lot of people benefited from his winnings, from that money. That, you know, if that was his choice, that was his choice. But from what I've seen, from a lot of that money may not have been his choice. And right now, I'm not worried about the money. Hang on. I'm not worried about the money thing right now. I'm worried about the fact that a human being was killed in my county and buried in my county.
Right, but
that's what I'm worried about.
The motive for me to kill him over money.
I never said anything about motive with money. I never said anything about that.
Then why would I want the man dead? Explain to me why I would want that man dead.
Easy.
That's what we
Hang
like.
on a second. Listen to me. You have got to realize the angle that we are coming from.
I
With
know.
I
would do the same thing.
Don't say nothing. Just listen to me for a minute, okay? You have to realize that we're looking at this from the outside and we are solving a crime, okay? Everything here points to you, okay? So if you're going to tell us a story, if you're going to tell us what's going on, I'm going to point out to you why it's either true or not true, okay? I'm looking at it as a juror. I'm looking at it as a prosecutor, as I'm a judge. So your word is absolutely nothing. You signing a piece of paper saying you swear to God has about as much value to me as a piece of shit on the ground right now. Your word in a court of law is absolutely not worth anything. Do you understand this? Okay? The only thing that's worth anything is the truth, because the truth can be proven. Okay?
And we have the ability to prove it. And we'll know if you're being truthful.
End of story. Okay? Now, if you, like I told you, we know you were involved. You are not a victim. You are involved. Plain and simple, okay? Let's get past the convoluted bullshit stories about how you were there.
Give me a reason why I'd want the man dead.
I already gave it to you.
Money is not the reason.
Yes, it is a big reason, and there's no way you can explain it away other than you say, the goodness of my heart, I didn't do it. He wanted it that way. That doesn't fly.
So
that does not fly. Just listen to me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fly, okay? I'm telling you from the outside, this isn't Dave Wallace, the person that you think wants to execute you for the rest of your life. This is a person sitting here thinking with a logical mind, okay, here, why would this lady, who has gained from Abraham Shakespeare being dead?
And he's a person thinking like a juror.
Like a juror, okay? There's only one person here. Listen to me. Don't come up with another line yet, okay? There's only one person who has benefited from the death of Abraham Shakespeare. That is Dee Dee Moore.
How about Poppy owing $1 million?
He has not benefited anything.
He owes the man $1 million.
Exactly. And you know what, Dee Dee? That's great that you can say that, but guess what? There's no paperwork anywhere about that. Yeah. Hang on, listen to me. There's no paperwork saying that he owes $1 million that is signed by him or Abraham Shakespeare anywhere, okay? Now, I go to Poppy to interview him very early in this investigation. Do you know what Poppy tells me? Hey, look, I borrowed $1 million from the man. I still owe him something like $700,000. If I see him, I will pay him $700,000. There's no proof anywhere other than what he told me. And he even calls me back the next day. He goes, Detective Wallace, can you come to my store? Yes, I can. He hands me copies of the certified cashier's checks. Hey, here's the $1 million that he lent me. Okay? So he has nothing to gain at all. At all. Okay? So it's not what about Poppy. Okay? It's not what about Cedric. Okay, we phoned Cedric out because Cedric's got the audio tapes. You were going to go there, but you can't.
No, I
Listen to me. Listen to me. You were going to go there.
No, I
Dee Dee.
wasn't. I was not going to go to Cedric. I've already talked to Cedric. Cedric said he had nothing to do with it. I recently talked.
Dee Dee, you have talked, you don't realize. You think you go around, you think all these people like you and they believe you and they're your friends, okay? Let me tell you what, all these black guys that you're dealing with, oh, they're your friends while you're standing there, while you're paying them money and while you're doing things for them, but the minute the police come around, guess what their line is? Fuck that white bitch. I ain't going down for her. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Here's what happened.
And that's verbatim. That's right out of their mouths.
That is exactly what happens every single time. You think all these people are going to lie to you because while you're standing there and you're giving them money to do this and that, they're going to do it. But when the rubber hits the road, honey, it don't happen. Okay? They tell the truth. And guess what? I can believe them because guess what? It pans out every single time. From the audio recordings to handing me the freaking the affidavit you wanted Cedric to sign, to all this stuff. It always.
That's what he told me. He had seen Abraham. He told
Dee
me
Dee,
that.
no, Dee Dee, and it's not going to fly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to help you here. You don't realize it, but I'm trying to help you.
And I didn't end up making it.
Okay? No, because he wouldn't sign it. What do you mean making him sign it? Because he wouldn't.
Dee Dee, in the last hour and 10 minutes that we've been sitting here talking to you, you know, I picked up on some physical cues, and they're just quite interesting because I mean, I know all these concocted stories. I've watched your interview from Monday night with Detective Carter. Not Clark. I'm sorry.
They're videotaped over there?
They might be.
I thought that was against the law without me knowing.
It's not against the law. We are law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
Okay? But I've noticed something. It's just interesting. It's when you start to kind of merge into this new concocted story or another rabbit hole, as I like to refer to. You have just this, you know, discerning look on your face and your eyes. I mean, it's just this serious look. And then when the truth hits out of Detective Wallace's mouth from his long-term investigation, and he's putting to you poignant facts that are true, and you know they're true, your eyes just shut and your wheels are just turning in your head, and you're thinking to yourself, and you're saying, damn it, if he ain't right.
No.
Yes, yes.
I'm thinking that the money stuff he talked about, that Cedric said he would not lie in court. I'm sure he showed, you've got that on audio, that Cedric said he would not lie in court, that I did not take any of that money, that Abraham went into those banks. He willingly did that himself. He didn't want Tori to have a dime. He did that because he wanted to keep her from having anything. He didn't care about that. He shopped at the dollar store. He still shopped at No, you want the money to be the motive, and that's not.
No, what I'm telling you is the money is the motive. The money, Dee Dee, listen to me. When you put it in front of a jury, the jury is going to
will convict me, and you will convict an innocent person.
No, we won't.
And then, you know what? Life will not exist that I know of, because I thought that we lived in society that people wanted the truth.
That crap, okay? The truth is you had something to do with it, and now it's time for you to tell the truth about what happened.
I'm telling you the truth, and you don't want to listen.
No.
You don't care. No, you don't. You don't want the truth.
Dee Dee.
You want your side. You
Dee
want
Dee.
your drama. You want your belief.
No, we want drama. Do you think we like working around the clock all week, being away from our own personal lives?
Do you think I like digging up a dead black man from April? Do you think I enjoyed it last night?
No, he does not do.
Do you think I enjoyed it last night when I had to smell his rotting carcass? Do you really think I enjoyed it?
Do you think any human being deserves to be put in a shallow grave on property and then have concrete poured over?
It's not right. He's not a piece of trash. He doesn't belong there. It wasn't right. You don't do that.
Then why did you put him there?
I didn't put him there.
Dee Dee, you knew exactly where he was because, hang on a minute, because you put the piece of metal right over. Exactly where.
Because Paul told me where it was and how he got it there.
No.
Don't you have that on for recording?
Hang on a minute. I almost forgot one thing.
What?
There was another time that Greg met you. and I watched, and he went to Radio Shack again. And this time, Greg bought 3 new Boost mobile phones. One of them was for you. One of them was for Greg. And I'm not sure who the other one was for, okay? Well, guess what that story was? Okay, and I've got it all on audio. This is the phone. You're going to use this phone, and you're going to be Ronald. You're going to be Ronald. You're going to call me several times. And then we're going to throw that into a lake. And I'm going to tell them that Ronald called me on that phone. I've got it on audio. I forgot to tell you about that one. You're going to be, Greg, you're going to be Ronald. And hey, if we get caught, we're going to tell them that Ronald did this. That's on audio too.
It's interesting how Ronald is this fictitious drug dealer, robber kind of guy.
Because I couldn't get a hold of him like that. He comes when he wants.
No, but hold on a minute. Hold on. Okay, he comes when he wants to, but guess what? Your other story to me, and boy, it's right here on my text messages from you, was that in between the time that you talked to Greg on Monday morning, you were able to contact Ronald, and Ronald told you right where that body was at. Really?
No, Ronald doesn't.
But you can't get a hold of Ronald, but you got a hold of Ronald then. Come on. It's over. It's
right under that
done.
piece of metal that you placed.
It's done. No, so you didn't get a hold of Ronald.
No, I told him he was supposed to get a hold of me, and he got a hold of me.
Oh, by luck of God, he got a hold of you at that time.
I didn't.
In between the two
first time
times.
he didn't, because when Greg asked me the first time in audio, you should be able to hear. I haven't talked to him. You should be able to hear that on audio that I did not talk to Ronald. I didn't know where it was, and I told him I had to meet him back later to make sure.
Dee Dee, there's no Ronald. You didn't talk to a Ronald.
Okay.
This is the same Ronald that you would come up behind your house and get money from your thing. Is that the one? That's another story you told. Ronald, the tall black guy. Remember you told Detective Clark that he was in the white car. You were going to blame it on the undercover officer before you found out he was an undercover officer. Come on. Dee Dee, I'm trying to help you. I really, really am. Okay? I'm trying to help you. Actually, I'm trying to help RJ. I don't want RJ to lose his mother and his father.
He can't lose his father. His father
Well, he's about
didn't do
to.
anything.
He's about to.
Have you not been hearing what we've been telling you for the last hour and 20 minutes in here?
But I'm telling you the truth about the guy being there, and you don't.
You haven't told me the truth about anything yet. Nothing that we can prove. Nothing that can be
Ronald
proven
does
for.
not exist. That's a ghost. That's a figment. That's a concocted individual
Okay, a guy.
to solidify your entire plot.
Okay.
You made up Ronald. You know you did. You made up Ronald, okay? One of the other things you had Greg do was call me. Before I knew who Greg was, Greg called me. And Greg told me, hey, I saw him down in Miami. Hang on, no, not because. Don't be because. Because every time you say but or because, it's followed by a lie, okay? You had him call me. I saw, hey man, you can call me B. I saw Abraham down in Miami at a club. His wallet fell out in front of me, and I saw his ID. Okay? Unbelievable. Then you tell Clark about about how this Ronald followed you to your house one day. He didn't know how to get a hold of you, so he showed up at your house, and he talked to you. Then you changed it with Greg, and you told Greg that you were pumping gas at the BP when this Ronald came up to you at the BP. Out of everybody in the world he could have ran into, he ran into you at the BP. Ronald. Then you want Greg to be Ronald. And then you want Ronald to be here. And then it's not him.
Because
hold on, no, stop. Hold on, stop it. Then it's Fairy Gay. But no, it's not Fairy Gay, it's Shirky Sean or Squeaky Sean.
That is an interesting name. And then Shanky Sean or something.
Did you look up Fairy Gay?
We've looked into things.
Okay, well.
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything.
Did you look up Fairy Gay?
I'm not going to answer that right now because I want Detective Wallace to continue explaining away this concoction.
Every different name. It's all bogus.
What was Fairy Gay? He was in prison?
Fairy Gay is somebody you look up on the computer.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard to put names together.
Mr. Land, who's Fairy Gay?
Oh, we've talked to Mr. Land.
Guess what? Mr. Land, every time you went and met him, he called me too. He wasn't on your side either, Dee Dee. He was feeding me information too.
Like what? I didn't do anything.
I'm trying to sell the house for $50,000. I want to sell it. He was going to hook you up with the old man until he talked to me, and I said, no, that's not going to happen. So that deal fell through. How you're trying to get rid of all these properties, that always fell through. Why did it fall through? Because of me. Every single time. Okay? Come on, Dee Dee. Game over. I'm good at the game. Okay? I've been playing the game a lot longer than you. A lot longer than you. It's just done. Okay? Mr. Land, talk to him numerous times. Talk to him on a daily basis. Oh, I even talked to him today. Okay? All the names, you know.
You talked to Mr. Land today about what? I didn't talk to him.
I talk to him every day. You don't even know what I talk to people about. I'm not going to tell you what I talk to people about. Okay? This isn't me who's looking at the rest of my life in prison. This is
You don't need to be concerned what the details of the conversations are with these individuals.
I don't
Just
spend the rest
know.
of my life in prison because I don't see a jury thinking that I would take a gun and shoot a man, and I don't see the ballistics showing that I'm the exact height of being able to angle the gun at a certain whatever and shoot that man.
Okay,
I'll go to that house
Do you
and you
think
can prove
ballistics?
that
Do you
it's
think a
not
height
me.
ballistics is going to
Let's
set
see.
you free?
What if
Come
he's
on.
sitting down?
You've been watching
What if he's
CSI
standing
too
up?
much.
What if he's laying on the
Sitting
ground? What
down,
if
whatever,
you're
the
sitting?
height is not going to be angled where it is
What if
me as
you're
the
sitting
shooter.
down?
No, that's what you're.
What if you're standing, you know, come on, Dee Dee.
Where would I be
Are
sitting?
you-
Where would I be
Dee-
sitting down on the other side?
Dee Dee, are you going to put your life, risk your life on some stupid CSI stuff that you might have seen? Okay? How about when the jury has...
No, I know in my heart there's God up above, and God knows I didn't shoot him.
Okay, then who did? Give me a realistic one this time.
I
A
told ya.
realistic one.
The only reason I've been making up this phone is because I told you to begin with, I didn't know his name, his real name. I told you Ronald was his made-up name, probably. I wasn't sure of his real name.
Probably no.
Now, what's his real name then?
I don't know. You never bothered giving me a book where you looked through it to see if I could identify the guy. You never did anything like
Dee
that.
Dee, I asked you to give me a phone number the guy called you from. You could never do that.
The guy didn't call me. That guy did not call me. When Ronald called me, it was unknown.
Oh.
But that guy never called me. The guy that shot him never called me. After that night, I never
You
seen
never
that guy
gave me
again.
Ronald's number either. I bet you would have. It would have been the phone that Greg had that would have ended up in the lake.
The boost.
Because we had already talked about that you talked about that on the audio.
But the guy that shot him, I do not know him. I have
Okay.
never
So
seen
the
him
guy-
after that night. The only time I've seen him, and after that night, I never seen him again.
Okay, well, what about all the money you paid him? That's why he kept you alive.
He had a guy that I called Ronald come by and pick it up.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so the jury's going to buy all of that.
No, they're not. I'm going to jail for something I didn't do.
And so is James Moore.
Why is James going?
I told
He
you.
dug a hole.
He
You're
dug a
willing
hole.
to
Dig
threaten
in a
me
hole.
with that because that is not fair.
That's
He
what's
did
gonna happen.
not dig that
That's
hole.
what's going to happen.
He did
I'm
not
not
dig
threatening
that
you with
hole.
anything. That's what's going to happen.
That is not
That's
fair.
not going to happen.
Why? What do I have to do to make that? So you want me to
Tell the
admit
truth.
to a crime I
I want you to
didn't
tell the
do?
truth.
You know, you
I
want me
want you to tell the truth.
something.
I want you to tell the truth.
A guy come in and shot him, took everything that we had in the safe for cash, and left with it.
And left you alive
Yes.
to give money to somebody who you don't know. Right? This is your story. Let's get it straight. So this guy kills Abraham Shakespeare, leaves you alive for you to give him $5,000 or $10,000 here or there to another guy that
Look
you
at
don't
my
know.
bank statement.
To another guy that you don't know.
We have looked at your bank statement.
So another guy that you don't know, and I guess that's the guy that you'd put the money on the back porch, and then the guy would just sneak up in the middle of the night and take the $5,000 or $10,000 and leave. Is that the story that we're going to go with? I mean, really, I've got children's books that are written better than that.
Yeah. And Ron, James, you're saying he didn't. Now you're saying he didn't dig the hole. The man came over and met with us today and walked over as I did, acted out for you to the very tree that is the most south, closest to that two-story structure, and said, "Oh, it's
But
about
I'm
right
saying
here.
he didn't know.
It's about
that-
right here."
And Doug is straight
The
up
only
this way.
truth that might be in any of your story, the only truth that might be in any of your story is that there was somebody else involved, and for some reason you won't tell us who that person is, because you know.
Because
Because you know, and you know they'll implicate you right in the middle of it.
That's right.
And I'm telling you right now, if you have any bit of heart and soul in you that loves your son, you're going to come off of the truth right now. And you're going to spare your son seeing his mother and his father go to jail.
And not only for your son, look at me a minute,
You
not
can tell
only
the
for your
truth.
son, but you're sitting here shedding these crocodile tears over the fact that you had a human being, Abraham Shakespeare, buried on your property, and that he didn't deserve that.
He
So
didn't.
this crying that you're doing now, I don't even know if I can believe that or not.
He didn't.
You can't.
The man was a human being, and put in a freaking shallow grave
He
to rot.
didn't deserve that. He didn't.
Then tell us the truth, Dee Dee.
Dee Dee, you sat there with Clark the other night, and you know what you told him? And you know what's going to play right in front of the jury? You know what's going to right in front of the jury? I'll tell you the truth. Can I keep my stuff? My house and my cars and everything else that I stole from Abraham?
I didn't steal it
Jesus
from Abraham.
Christ. Well, whatever you call
I
it.
didn't steal
Call it whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. But the quote was,
There's
if I tell
nobody
you,
that would say I stole
let me
that.
think. Let's do the quote
Let's
itself.
rephrase it.
Let's rephrase it. We'll drop off the stole part. I'll tell you the truth if I can keep my stuff. Do you know how that's going to play with the jury? Oh no, the money's not the motive. Can I keep my stuff?
It wasn't like that.
I have an innocent man buried on my property rotting. Can I keep my stuff, by
I
the way?
didn't know. I'm saying that I did not do it, and he was saying I'm going to lose everything. Well, why should I lose everything when I didn't kill the man?
Can I
did
keep
not
my stuff?
kill that man.
I'll tell you the truth. Can I keep my stuff? But no, the money's not the motive. But no, there's a guy that I don't know his name, that I call this guy Ronald, that I was going to pay another guy to be Ronald.
That stands up and takes money off the back porch.
Dee Dee, come on. This isn't the world we live in, and you know it. Nobody lives in that world. Nobody.
And what back porch are you referring to?
Have you ever read the book
Hang on a minute. What back porch are you referring to a few minutes ago when you said whatever comes up and gets money off the back porch?
It didn't come up a lot. It was like only a couple.
Well, what house are you referring to?
The one in Red Hawk.
Okay.
The one on Red Hawk.
You mean the one where your son was safe in the room next door next to a killer that was coming up to
It
get the money?
wasn't that killer that was coming up.
Oh, no, it was his associate. Oh, God, we can trust him.
Yeah, never mind the actual man.
He was with him, and he's shady little son. Don't worry about that.
Come up and take payments and stuff. We won't worry about that.
Don't stay in the house with me. RJ, you can have that nice house outside.
Maybe he's got a nice one. All right, Dee Dee.
Okay. I'm not gonna do no more. I'm gonna tell you everything from the start.
And again, before you say anything, last night you were going to tell us.
I know, but you were threatening me with.
No. I'm not. We weren't threatening you with anything. We were stating fact, okay?
Uh-huh.
And whatever you tell us, you got to understand, you're going to have to prove what is the truth to us.
Yeah.
And like I said, from our investigation, we know what the truth is going to be.
Right.
So let's hear it.
But with James, I was worried for him, and I knew the person that I keep keeping from you. I knew if I ever told them that I will definitely be under the jail, not in it. So, because they have a lot of involvement.
Okay.
Okay. First, Abraham, when I met him, we met, and I was writing my book, and he was just telling me all about his life, and he needed, then I found out that his house payment was negative.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you want to go through all the little details, or?
Well, I mean.
Just so you have a brief, I'll give you a brief overview.
Yeah,
He was negative in his house payment. So I went up to the
To the one in Lakeland that you live in now?
Right. It had a house payment at Wachovia. So I went up to the bank and paid his house payment for him
Okay.
with my cash that I
And
had
when
in my
was this?
bank.
What month?
It's all in my checking account.
All right.
It was $6,988. So I paid his house payment and found out that he was having all these problems. He had a problem doing all his collections because no one would pay him back. Once he gave them money, they wouldn't give him any. They would say, get the F off my property, threaten him and everything. So he was having a problem with doing that. So he had asked me about doing his collections for him. Judy started doing collections. He went around telling certain people, Judy would be doing the collections. He
Well,
says that no
why
one
would they
said
pay
that.
Judy versus him? I mean, did she have a better way of collecting money, or
Well,
what?
yeah, because they would give him a sob story.
Mhm.
They would say, "Oh, my electrics, you know."
And she wouldn't
right,
put up with it.
Right.
Okay.
My electrics,
All right.
and you know.
All right, go on.
My kids hurt, and I'm the same way. Every time, you know, I would try, it would be like, you know, I'd end up paying their electric bill. I
Okay.
paid
So
Cedric.
you paid his mortgage payment.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Paid his mortgage payment and everything. Well, he was going through, that lawsuit with Michael Ford that was coming up, and his attorney had quit on him, Valenti, because for non-payment, and he would not pay Valenti the other $20,000 because he felt like Valenti was ripping him off. He already paid $850,000 to William Gary, and William Gary wouldn't, you know, represent him anymore because the case was over. Well, they had rebutted.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that problem going on in his life, and he started asking me on, you know, the collections and stuff if I would do it, and we'll work out something where, you know, I get a nice percentage of it, because he doesn't get anything back at all. These people have lived rent-free for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
None of them have paid. He's got a house that, they've got a $200,000 house, and in 2 years the people haven't paid one mortgage payment at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said that we'd work something out, and Tori wasn't going after, you know, a quarter of it or a regular child support. She wanted at least half, because he was lying about what he had. He was lying about his assets. Well, further on in, I found that out.
Okay.
But anyways, he had these people that would threaten him and all, like Greg Massey was one of them that acts like he's his best friend on TV, which is hilarious because, you know, a lot of people know that that's not true. And that was one of the reasons why I was mad at Greg, because Greg acts like he's such a friend of his, but Abraham didn't even like him anymore because he took advantage of him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to take advantage of him. I know it looks like that, and I know you think that I'm a horrible person. I'm just as bad as the rest. But what he acted like to me, he was very giving to me, and I loved him for that. He was very nice and very giving. He turned over that $1 million because he felt like he was going to lose it anyway.
Okay.
He wanted me to invest in. No, I want you to know that. So you look at that.
Okay.
prospect of it.
We've looked at a lot of stuff in the last week, and they've looked at a lot of stuff in the last 10 months.
I know.
Okay. If that's your opinion of it, that's
Yeah.
fine. Our opinion will probably be different. Okay.
I know your
and that's
opinion's
neither
different,
here
but
nor there.
Can I?
But what I want to dig down to is how the man got killed and murdered on your property.
I know.
Okay, so
Well,
if you're telling me that,
thinking
hang
that
on a minute, let me
motive-
finish.
Uh-huh.
If you're telling me he was very given to you, okay, so be it. He's
Yeah.
not going to be able to come out and tell us that
I
like
know
we
that,
went
but
into last night.
But I will love to give you names so that you can look the people up that know the truth, that know that he was like that. I have no motive. I have no reason. I cared about that man.
Then how did he
I
get
had
killed? How and why?
Okay, Howard was on cocaine drugs. He was on crack. The guy was blackmailing with a crack photo of him. He had it in the top drawer of his desk. I don't know if it's still there. You can look at his office and see if it's still there.
It was Stitzel's office?
Stitzel's office. Stitzel was doing all these transactions for us, doing all the paperwork and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got upset because I didn't want all this in my name because I heard Tori was going to come after and sue me for trying to hide all his assets, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I had, you know, a disagreement there, whereas Howard says it's fine, you know, when I go to buy that other house, just put it in Char's name. I was being directed, you know, what to do to keep it safe by him. He's a lawyer. You trust him. You put your trust in a lawyer, you should, you know, have the trust. And that's what a lawyer's supposed to do. He's supposed to look out for your best benefit, even with Abraham. If it's Abraham's lawyer, he's supposed to look out for Abraham, not for himself. Well, Howard come to me, and he kept wanting more money, and then he started coming to Abraham for money. I didn't know he was using it for drugs.
When
gave him
was
a
Howard
$20,000.
When was Howard coming after Abraham for more money? Like what time of year? And
It's all in my checkbook. You'll see checks written out to Howard. Howard's got
from
$20,000.
from your checking
Mhm.
account, which is really Abraham's money, like from
Right.
what bank? Which banking institution?
The Bank of America one. I can show you the check.
Is it the checks under one of your company names or under your name or what?
Like one of them's from Abraham Shakespeare LLC.
Okay.
He got a $20,000 check.
And that was paid to Stitzel.
Howard says, well, to protect me, we'll write up a loan thing, you know, a loan paper saying it's, quote, a loan, you know, Howard has a loan that he pays back, but he never has the money paid back because he uses it all up. So I was thinking, how is he going through all this money? And I found out, me and Abraham got really upset with him. I went crying up to his office because Abraham really wanted Greg Massey sued. He was waiting and waiting for this man to be sued because...
By Stitzel.
Yes.
To draft up the paperwork.
Right, because he was supposed to sign this contract saying he owed Abraham $310,000. Greg refused. Greg says, I'm not paying you. Abraham was really upset about that. He was very distraught, saying that, you know, he feels like Greg took advantage of him. So Abraham wanted me to start going over bank records at Wachovia and the other bank to see how many people stole from them, to see how much Greg had embezzled, because he felt like Greg embezzled, because as we went around checking with people, they were saying that Greg was getting cut off the top to get a loan for him. So, like, if you get a loan for $10,000, Greg would get, you know, $1,000 or $2,000 paid back to him for getting the loan for you. Like, I'll go to Abraham, I'll get you a loan, you know, but I'm going to take some of the money back. So when we found that out, you know, Abraham was real upset, and Abraham felt like he was taken advantage of by Greg, and he wanted him in jail, not just, you know, get in his house. He wanted him in jail if we could find any type of embezzlement by him. So we started researching, went up to the bank, got all the little things. That's why I have all the yellow slips and all that. And I talked to Abraham again, and Abraham was upset also about the other court cases that Howard was supposed to be taking. So I went up to Howard's office, and I was crying profusely. I went in there crying to him because he promised this man, and this man was upset and hurt. That,
Do you remember when this was that you went into Howard's office and cried to him?
I don't know. You can look at my phone records. I had called him, and he wouldn't answer. There's a witness to that at that office. It was his old office on Alexander. There's a guy in the corner office to the left. I went and cried in his office.
So this is before Howard moved onto your property?
Right.
This is when he was on the old Alexander Street address?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's a guy that's in the left-hand corner office that'll say, I went in there crying to him. Well, when I was in there, I met Howard's drug dealer. He tells me about how he went around there and threatened Howard. He'll break his kneecaps, he'll do this.
So this drug dealer starts telling you how he's threatening somebody?
Yes, he tells me. He's got a strong-arm man there, and he says, you know, with Howard, if he owes you anything...
Were they expecting you to come there, or you said you went there to basically
see
cry
Howard.
and plead
Right,
to Howard?
Right.
So this drug dealer, it's safe to say this drug dealer wasn't expecting you coming in there?
No, he wasn't expecting me
So
there, but
why
I
would
met
this,
him.
So why would this drug dealer with his strong arm start just telling you all
Because
this
we were
criminal
talking
activity?
because we were talking about how Howard is, because he was telling me that he had a blackmail picture on Howard of smoking crack. He did. He said he had a picture of Howard with a crack pipe, and that he holds that over him, you know, because that could go out to the public. And he says, because he left me in jail. He says, I paid him money, and then he left me in jail and didn't get me out of jail right away. Was
Howard sitting there when all this stuff was being discussed?
No.
Where was he at?
Howard was nowhere to be found. We were waiting for him. So we sat there.
Just in the lobby of his office, or what?
Yeah, in the lobby of his office. His office, like when the door was actually open to the little sitting area where the desk is. So me and him were sitting there talking. I could look up that guy's name if I got a hold of Howard's records, but he's gray-headed. He's cleaned up. He used to have like shaggy looking, you know, crazy hair. But
black male, white male, what?
Got arrested again, and he had to shave and clean up.
See, a black male, white male?
White male.
So Howard's drug dealer is a white male that's cleaned up looking now?
Yeah, because he was, and I'm sure that's
How
not the
old?
only drug dealer friend he has. He's maybe in his 40s. Howard just recently got him out of jail again, saved him on a big jail charge.
All right,
So anyways, he saved him on the jail charge, and he's telling me all about this. Well, then I figure out where all the money's going, why Howard needs so much money all the time. He has sores all up his arms and down his legs, I guess, from the crack, what it does to your body. So I have an intervention with Howard, and I tell Howard, I'm going to have to drop him. I'm going to have to write to the board, the lawyers, and the Bar Association, and see if I can get him debarred if he doesn't do what he said he was going to do for Abraham. I mean, you don't do that to somebody. You took his money. We paid you for Abraham suing Greg. We paid you for Abraham suing Laura Williams. We paid you for Abraham. We paid him for all kinds of stuff for suing people, and he never even did anything with it. He didn't take them to court. So Abraham's waiting for these people to go to court. He's got checks for it and been paid for it. It started in Bird's office first. Bird got the case, and we wrote out checks to Bird first, and Howard didn't do nothing while it was in Bird's office. So we go, and now I cry and cry, can't find him for 3 days.
Can't find Howard
Can't
for
find
3
him.
days. So when you went to his office where this drug dealer started just divulging all this information to you, and Howard's, or is it David Howard, or you call him Howard, or what?
I call him Howard.
In his waiting room or lobby, and, you know,
If
Howard's
you talk
nowhere
to
to
this
be
guy,
found.
he'll tell you the same thing. If you talk to this guy, he's real
So
open.
this drug dealer is just going to plainly tell us that he was there with his strong arm to basically get his money and find out why he was left in jail.
Yeah, I mean, he
Tell us that he
wasn't.
deals crack or whatever to Howard.
Well, no, he's probably not going to tell you that he does crack. I'm sure, but you can find that out.
All right,
by
so
a
going
record.
back, you didn't come across Howard for 3 days.
Yeah, and I found out why, because he was cracked out. He had went over the edge and had got heavy on crack, and he had, been on cocaine, and he was all messed up. So I talked to him and told him if he didn't straighten up, we'd have to do something. Well, he promised me he, was going to quit. I told him that, I'd help him get rehab. I'd help him rehab. I would do whatever, he needed, whatever he needed to get straight. I'd help him. But he continued to do the same thing. He'd come after us for more cases so that he could get more money, and he was going to get, more stuff done, and he was going to start sending notices. He eventually sent a notice to Greg Massey. He eventually sent a letter to the Knights to foreclose. He did do, a couple of things he said he was going to do.
This is before he moved into the office on your property?
Yeah, he starts doing some of the stuff he's going to.
Okay.
Well, then, when we start talking about moving in $1 million, Abraham tells people that he's having to give it to the IRS. I think he tells Poppy. I'm trying to think who else. He tells them that, that his money's being taken because he doesn't want.
So the $1.095 million.
Yeah. He tells Poppy.
Wait a minute. Abraham was wanting to move and hide, basically, from IRS. Is it Abraham's idea or Howard's idea?
Well, no, it was Abraham's idea, but Howard, he wanted it too because he was going to lose it. They figured to Tori, because Tori knew about it. Everybody knew it was in that bank.
And was that the last of his money left over?
Yeah, that was the last of what he had in any bank. So Abraham, because his other bank, the little $4,000, was frozen at the time. So Abraham wanted it moved, and Tori knew about that, so he started a rumor uptown, so that it'd get around that he's losing it to the IRS taxes. What he does is he calls the place and has it moved over, has me start up the company, Abraham Shakespeare, LLC. So he can put it as an investment, investing. For me doing that, right off the top, I can get $250,000. He keeps the third. I start cashing it out as he needs it for when he needs it for stuff. Plus, he wants me to find a business investment so that he can make cash so it doesn't show as money in the bank for Tori. Okay, so we have the paintball field and we have 3 offices to rent out. That way, he doesn't show his cash flow and he doesn't have anything in the bank to go after. So that's why I've always said, if anything, I can get charged with helping him avoid child support, because I did that. I mean, that is something I should be charged with. I helped him avoid child support, but child support wasn't bearing yet, it wasn't there. And once I found out and talked to Tori more and more and seen how much he let her struggle, I liked Tori. I felt bad about what I had done. So I started taking it back. I started telling him I'm not going to lie in child support court, which he got upset about to me, but I couldn't let her do that. He let her be homeless almost. She got where she didn't have a home, and he wasn't giving her nothing. So I made sure she got a house. I put her in that house that she's in, and I got her a car so she'd have a way back and forth because she was walking. And I told her, I couldn't do that.
And again, out of the goodness of your heart, like you said last night, you made that comment, you're putting her up and taking care of her financially now.
Well, I was taking care of her whatever she needed, just necessities, until it went to court. That's what I was doing.
A house and a car?
Well, yeah, but the house wasn't paid for. The house was rental. So I would make the rent payments. Like, I went with her to get the mortgage and all. I did all that with her. So I got the mortgage, and I told her when it comes to child support court, I wouldn't lie. I would turn over the Knight's house. You hear that in my conversation with the other stuff. But I turned over the Knight's house, and I told her she can have anything she wants because I know what happened. I know what he did, and I felt bad about it, you know. I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her she can have the Knight's house, whatever I needed to sign over. I told her I would tell the court everything when we went to court, and that I'll you know, if I can be charged with that, then I'll be charged with helping him avoid child support. So Abraham has got the money moved over now, and he tells me $250,000. So I go buy my Hummer because we're riding around the black Hummer. I have a black Hummer at the time, and he likes to ride around nice, and I ride him around, and so does Judy. So, and then I have about $100,000 that came in from Real Time. You can see my business part. And so really, however you want to say the vet was bought, but it was bought from that money, but I had $100,000 of my own money in there too. At the time, Real Time, you can see my checks going in the bank in January. So I didn't spend it all, and I left it in the bank. And then we got another letter. You know, we knew I had talked to Tori, and Tori was telling me that, you know, people were telling her to come after me because I took over his bad debts, and he did them to hide them and everything else. So we start getting worried about that. So that's when we separate the money and we put it in ASTAT, you know, other companies, and that was at the suggestion.
And that ASTAT is under Shard?
Right. And that was at the suggestion of Howard, you know, so that it's a third party. If I give it to him as a gift, donate it to that company, then she cannot come after it. So I donated it to that company, so she couldn't come after it.
The ASTAT.
Right. So me and Abraham donate it so that she can't come after that money, and it's free and clear. And it's going to be a paintball field for the kids to use. But in actuality, Abraham's going to make money off of that. You know, he'll get the cash flow from it.
If at the end of this conversation you're wasting my Saturday afternoon with another freaking lie, I'm going to be pissed.
No,
okay?
I'm not.
Because, you know, with you coming clean with your involvement and what exactly had transpired to the point of how Abraham was killed and buried on your property.
Yeah.
Okay, and so far, all along, everything has been bullshit.
I know, but I was scared. I was really scared.
So who are you scared of?
This man has told me.
This man who? This man who?
Well,
this man who?
Let me finish it. This man has told me. I'll do it when Wallace, because I'm going to have to repeat it all for him.
Finish out your financial
okay.
dissertation here, because he,
okay.
you know, he and his squad have pretty much uncovered a lot of information that they pretty much know every minute detail of.
Okay. So anyway, so we go, and he's going to make income from the three offices.
Abraham's going to make income.
Right, from 3 offices, so that way, if he ever needs it in the future, because he's got enough to live off of. He's a dollar store man. But, you know, we figured we'd do it as a joint venture. He told me we'd do it 50-50. So whatever, he'd get half and I'd get half. Whatever he needed, as long as I helped him out and gave it to him. Because he felt like he's going to lose everything, because every time he turned around, he was getting in a lawsuit, or people would threaten to sue him. So I went ahead and did that, and he felt like Howard had taken advantage of him because all this stuff hadn't come to light, and he wanted to do these out of, he didn't care about the money. He's just a very giving man. He gave away $11 million before I even stepped in the picture. He literally gave one man $1 million. He does not care.
Is that Poppy guy?
No. Poppy got a loan for $1 million, but he gave Big Man $1 million too. And he gave Big Man's daughter $250,000.
Is that his uncle or something, Big Man?
No, wasn't a relative, just somebody that helped raise him. So he did all of this stuff before all these people stepped in the picture. I cared about that man. I wouldn't have, there's a couple things in your statements that y'all make for premeditated or whatever you said. First of all, he had a car that we had just recently bought. If I was going to hurt him, I wouldn't go buy a Lincoln car. I paid his insurance like just 2 days before anything even happened. 2 days, I paid a full insurance of $700 and something. That you can look up. I wouldn't have had Judy there waiting for me at the Hard Rock if we weren't going to go to the Hard Rock. I wouldn't have a reserve.
Yeah, but wait, let me time out a minute, Dee Dee. That's just, you can look at it, you can explain it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But an outside source looking in, a jury member, can interpret it as you're just feeding the plot here. You're conspiring even more to help your cause in making this person disappear, and then the big scheme of things with the amount of money that's being put here, put there, spent here, spent there. I mean, those aren't large quantities of money to spend and pay his insurance or whatnot. That's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to go out and buy a $50,000-$60,000 Lincoln MKS or something. And then the sheer fact of setting up whatever a meeting at the Hard Rock to go there and have some fun and whatnot, and then concoct the story that you gave Judy at 2:15 that morning. Again, in my view, and in probably a jury member's view, premeditation, setting up the whole charade. But having said that, please carry on.
Okay. I wouldn't have paid his insurance 2 days prior to that if I was going to hurt the man.
Why not?
$700 and something. Why do that if I'm going to off him? You know, why would I? His insurance, he'll never know. It's not paid. I paid his insurance. I had Judy was meeting us at the Hard Rock. We were really going to go out that night. I think I have a reservation at the Hard Rock, a hotel stay, if you can look to see if we reserved a hotel, because I was going to reserve a hotel. I don't remember if I was going to do it when I got there, if I got that one that time, because we went to Hard Rock a lot. I did that. That's the loader that you keep talking about, premeditated. Abraham had in with that loader. He wanted me to go to that. He wanted me to go to that auction. He said to buy Tyrone Hunt a car, buy Cedric a car, okay, and go ahead and see if I can see any equipment that would help with the paintball field for the Army field, because we were spending a lot of money with James having to get that place graded out. We paid a lot for the orange trees to be removed, and then we constantly were having to have him come over there and move stuff, plus we needed all those palm trees moved. Those palm trees were moved down by the side of the house. So Abraham even thought it'd be cheaper just to have, my own piece. So he's like, see if you can see something reasonable there, go ahead and get it if there's something good there. And so I did. There was a backhoe there that was decent.
So Abraham tells you to go buy something at this?
Yeah, he said, see if you can find something for the paintball field. And that way you won't have that problem and we won't be putting out all this cash, because it was like, I think it was like $3,000 I paid to get the place leveled, orange trees, all that
so
stuff.
why not throw a few bucks towards some of the farmers that live around there that already have all that equipment to come and do that for you?
Because
y'all are neighbors and stuff.
I know that. Well, we were. I had Farkas do some of it. Farkas did the back work. He did some of it, but we wanted something that would move stuff. Like if we wanted to make a dugout, or if we wanted to make a part of the paintball field, we were going to...
A place to bury a body, that kind of thing?
No, that's not why. I could have had Farkas do that by telling him I needed a hole. I could have had James bring over a piece of equipment. I don't intentionally have to have a piece of equipment to do that. That was not the reason why
Abraham gives you to go ahead and go to the auction and purchase a piece of equipment for purposes of your all's business.
Yeah. So we went and I purchased that, and because I knew I needed those palm trees moved and all that. There was palm trees on the wrong side of the property. We wanted them moved. I come back from the auction. Cedric got his car. Tyrone got his. We were doing all this, getting the paintball field ready so that, it would be nice. And then there was what else did we do prior to that? I paid the insurance, I did all that. There was plenty of
So what
money still
month
in the
is
bank.
it? What time frame are we looking at?
But
Can you
right
recall?
in that time,
Yeah, but from your own memory, can you recall these dates? Do you know what month it was at this time?
all I have to do is look it up. I have receipts and bank statements and stuff, so I can look all that up. But all of that was done, and the whole time I'm doing stuff like I went and got his broke finger fixed. I did stuff for him all the time. When he
I
called
have no
at 2
doubt
o'clock in
you.
the
I have no
morning, I
doubt
did
you did
whatever he
things for him.
wanted.
I have no doubt in that. I don't think Detective
And-
Wallace has a doubt that you did.
Yeah,
things
and
for
he
him.
knew everything that was going on. He wasn't illiterate to that. I mean, people can say he's illiterate. He knew what his money does, and he doesn't
Well,
care.
that's what
when
we're
it-
starting to surmise is that, yeah, he was starting to get a little edgy because he's having problems getting some of that money in the last few months, and who pretty much has control over it, Dee Dee?
He wasn't having problems. I would write out checks to people he wanted loans for. I wrote a check out to Mary Crawford for $30,000 to a bar he wanted to give a loan out. The only one I refused was the 2 drug ones. I refused the watermelon guy, Babe Ruth, because he wanted to transport drugs in that. I refused the other one because it was a drug thing. I didn't want any part of that. If he wants to do that, do it with, something that he's got out of the bank. I didn't want to do it with that and get in trouble and get in this big drug deal thing like he did. He did loan sharking. He did that Clarence West and Freddie West. That was a big drug dealer that got caught with his money, and they had started investigating that, and they were trying to put Abraham on that because he's the one that loaned him the money. I didn't want to be a part of that.
Here's what's so hard to believe, okay?
What?
You talk about, I got this money in this. You spent $10 to every $1 of his money on you or Shar. For every time you say, well, you look at what the money I got out. Okay, well, you got $5,000 here.
I didn't.
There's no documentation as to where that money went, if it actually went to Abraham. We've got to take your word for it that you gave to Abraham $10,000. But then, hang on. But then you go deeper, and like I said, your expenditures were 10 or 20 to 1 compared to what the pittance amount that you're saying went to Abraham. So it's very hard, not only for us, it'd be very hard for anybody to sit here and look at the things and go, okay, here's this lady who got the Corvettes, got the houses in her name, got the this, and then you're going, but Abraham knew about that, and Abraham wanted that was in business we were going to invest in, and blah, 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 and what makes it really hard to believe is the lengths and the things that you did to after April 6th to cover up that he was, or to make it still look like he was alive, and then once it was looking like he wasn't alive,
well, I'm going to explain that. I'm going to
Okay.
explain that part. I'm going to explain why I did the link thing. So anyway, all of the money stuff, Cedric said, I don't know, he'll probably take that back, but he promised that he would not lie in court on that. He knew what Abraham did with his money. He knew he didn't care about that. So if he will stand up and tell the truth on that, the money is not an issue because his own cousin even knew. His other cousin knew. They knew what he was doing with me.
Okay. But here's the problem. Cedric is a criminal who is completely unreliable and untruthful.
Okay.
I mean, we're looking at facts here, and
Okay.
that's it. Cedric's
I
not
know
a fact.
I know. That's why I did so much cover up, because I was scared, because I know it's
Okay.
gonna look bad. Okay, anyways, so I went ahead and we did the paintball, we got everything going there. I was supposed to meet Judy at Hard Rock. We're gonna go over there and we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna play slots. But
hang on.
2 days
Have you
before
all
that-
even rented out that paintball field? Have you even collected any money from customers
No.
on that thing? Have you
No.
used any of that equipment
No.
before?
No,
And how long have you had it set up out there?
a while, but it's because once I got to meet Abraham, because that paintball field was my idea, I had already bought that stuff. I think I bought that before I met Abraham. I can't remember. I have to look. Yeah,
you didn't
that was
invest
mine.
his money in that. You
No,
did
no,
that before.
no, but he invested the $250,000 he put over there to make it look like he's investing in the kids because we're going to build more fields. I already had the idea, that was on mine, but he wanted more. He was going to do more fields with me to be a partner. He was going to do the Army tanks. We were going to have Army helicopters out there and do barracks on the back half. That's why we got the back half cleared. The other 5 acres out back,
Okay,
all the way
go
out.
on.
So anyway, so Judy says we're gonna go do that. Well,
No, was that you that said that, or Judy said that? You made the plans to go to the Hard Rock.
Well, I made the plans, but I was going to meet Judy over there. But we had to stop by the office first because Howard had some papers we needed to sign. We had signed papers on the 2 days prior to that, I guess. We had signed those other papers, the power of attorney and all that stuff. Abraham had already moved some of his stuff over there. It to the office. It was in a trailer. He had already moved his stuff over there. Baber went and got some of his stuff out of the trailer before anything ever happened to Abraham. Abraham was already keeping some of his stuff at the office. If you ask anybody, ask Baber. Baber can tell you, I think he goes by Pat or whatever. Pat can tell you he came around twice with Abraham at the office and got stuff out, packed boxes. So that guy that moved the final stuff out of the house, that wasn't all of it, because Abraham had already moved some of his stuff over there. He was coming by and getting it when he needed it.
Keep going.
So, I went ahead and we knew that we were supposed to meet Howard there.
Howard where? At the office or at the Hard Rock?
At the office. We had some paperwork that needed to be signed. And he had told me that we didn't even call him because he had told me just to meet him. I was like probably an hour late from meeting him.
Meeting who, Howard or Abraham?
Yeah, Howard. Because, I was about an hour late from meeting Howard. But Abraham and I were supposed to go straight from there, sign the papers, and then go straight to Hard Rock. And, meet Judy. And we had reservations. I would not premeditate. I had no reason to kill the man. I'd have no benefit from it. I already had everything he had, and he did not give a shit.
And what date was this, that you went to the Hard Rock that you didn't show up?
That's the date that...
April 6th?
Yeah.
2009?
Yeah, and Judy, you said you looked up. Judy is on the slots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So did you meet with Howard Stitzel at all, with Abraham?
Yeah. We went to the office and...
Howard's office?
No, my office on 60.
All right, and which house?
And
the one in the red brick house?
Yeah, because Howard moved over to the red brick house first.
Right.
When he moved from
He was
Alexander.
there for about a month until the two-story was done and renovated.
Right.
So when you went back there April 6th to your office in the single-story red brick house, 5732 Highway 60, Plant City, Florida, was Howard already in the house next door in the two-story?
He was in the red brick home.
So his office was in there where your office was?
Right. He's in the red brick home, and he's sitting in my office.
Howard's sitting in your office?
Yeah, with another gentleman.
All right, who's this other gentleman?
One of his friends. I don't know his name, honestly, don't. I can identify him if I have pictures, but I don't know his name. But Howard is in there with him. We go to sign the papers, and Abraham's sitting on the round couch. Abraham has me open up the safe to put those 4 guns in it that he had gave me.
Where was the safe at then?
The safe was in the corner,
in your office?
Yeah. Here's the couch, and the safe's over here, and it's in the corner like this.
By where your desk is?
No, my desk is down this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's on the window side, like if you're looking, there's the fireplace.
Where that TV was?
Right, and it's kind of catty-cornered. And you can look up the delivery date of the safe. The safe was originally put in that office.
Where did you move the safe?
I moved the safe to the Lakeland home afterwards. I moved it to the Lakeland home later, and you can look up the lock and, what is it? Something lock and safe or something, locking or whatever.
So they physically moved it to your Lakeland. Is there a big safe that, you would have to have somebody?
Oh, yeah. Right. They have to jack it up and move it. So we meet him there. Abraham and Howard. Howard is really cocaine down. He is high as a kite. He takes marijuana too, and he is cracked out of his head. Him and Abraham get an argument about him not taking Greg Nasty to court yet. He gets an argument about not doing all the stuff he says. Abraham's telling him that, he wants to go ahead and get a different lawyer, and Howard needs to pay him back all that money he's given him.
So Abraham starts confronting him on his
Right.
services so far,
Right.
provided by Howard Stitzel.
And wants all the money back, or he's gonna get him for basically embezzlement or whatever, taking stuff that, you know, he didn't do any work for. He took a bunch of money.
Was it Abraham's intent at this point, would you say, to go there and start confronting him, or did he just think of it on his own, I want my money back, I'm gonna go get another attorney, just because he saw Howard sitting there?
I think his intention, he had been wanting to talk to him anyways about it. Because we were, you know, you can ask Judy about that. He had wanted to talk to him about it because he had not been doing what he said. Every time we turned around, he would go through these fits of he's normal, and then he would crack out and be on cocaine 3 or 4 days at a spurt, and then he'd show up again in our life.
All right,
Like-
the bottom line is,
So,
Abraham confronts him about getting his money
Right.
back and going, seeking other counsel.
right, Abraham gets his money back, seeking other counsel, and he's going to get someone else to represent him. Then Howard starts threatening him that he's got the Michael Ford case coming up, he'll end up losing it, and Abraham says, why? Everything's out of my name. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't matter at this point. He can't get anything. And so Howard, you know, tries to convince him, you know, he'll do better, he'll do it like he always does. He's really good at talking.
Mhm.
And he convinces him, you know, tries to convince him that, you know, don't do that and stuff. And so then I start threatening about the board again. I'm like, you know, I can get you debarred for what you've done to him. And all this money, every time we turn around, you need more and more and more. You say that you have to put some in reserve. He was supposed to put some money in reserve, and he spent it. You know how you put it in the, where you're not allowed to touch it?
Mhm.
He puts it in that, and he touches it. And he calls me up to replace the money before he gets caught touching it, so that he doesn't get caught touching that money. So, Abraham and him are discussing about that. Then he goes into the Tori, and I, you know, tell him, you know, of course I'm not going to lie in child support court. Tori's going to get something. She's going to get the house and some other stuff. And so Howard starts arguing about that, you know, with him, and they're discussing back and forth, and then the Greg Massey comes up. That's the biggest issue, and they're arguing about that. And he feels like Howard's taken advantage of him, and Howard's used him for all this money and kept coming after him for money,
Mhm.
and wanting more and not doing anything. So then Howard threatens Abraham with that he's going to, I had already was going to call the whistleblower on Abraham.
Mhm.
That's one thing you can check with Judy about. I had, when that $1 million got over in my account,
Yeah,
well,
just
when
stay
we-
on track
okay,
with the-
well, when the $1 million got over my account, I had planned on calling whistleblowers and getting a third of it anyways. And Howard's the one that talked me out of that. He says, that's pretty mean. You're trying to help the man, but you're going to turn him in for tax evasion. And I said, yeah, but he did.
Keep the skim off the top, basically, your cut of it.
Yeah, because I was going to get my third.
All right, so go back to this issue with Howard in your office with.
Right, so he says that he's going to turn him in for that and everything else if he does that, kind of like blackmailing him. He's like, you know what, you'll go to jail. You're going to go to jail for, if you turn me into the bars, you're going to go to jail for, you know, tax evasion and money laundering and bringing up all of it.
Okay.
So that's when Abraham brought out the gun, and
What gun did he bring in?
he brought out a 9mm. Greg Smith owns that now. Greg Smith has got that. His wife got it for being a, what do you call it, a police officer. So Greg Smith has that gun. Anyways, he brings out that gun and he goes to fire it. He didn't have
So
one.
Abraham pulls out a gun
Yeah.
and goes to shoot Howard Stitzel?
Yes. And
Where was Howard Stitzel in your office?
Howard was where I kept saying the drug dealer was, because I kept trying to get away with using the drug dealer.
All right, let me get a gauge of it. All right, your office is basically rectangular, okay?
Mhm.
If I remember correctly, your desk kind of faced this way, and you had like some other furniture here. You had like the little curved couch chair thing in the corner, and this was a walkway into the kitchen over here. There's a fireplace here, all right, and then there was a window here, right? And then there was another table or something with a flat screen TV.
Right. The safe is here at this time.
Okay.
That's not there, it's moved over some. This is the safe. There's a chair here, and Howard's about right there. And the door to the safe is open.
All right, so Howard is standing or sitting?
Howard's standing up.
And is anybody, where's this other guy, his henchman, drug dealer guy or whatever?
He's over here.
Like in the
Just
kitchen
standing.
area?
Yeah, just
Kitchen
standing
area?
there.
Was your
Yeah.
kitchen finished at the time?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
All right,
So,
so yeah, probably, so,
Yeah.
all right.
um,
So you got the other guy was Stitzel standing over here,
Mhm.
and you're what, behind your desk?
yeah, I'm behind over here. I'm
Okay,
standing
now
in
where's
the doorway.
Abraham at? On this chair?
Yeah, Abraham's on this chair,
So he
sitting
gets
down.
up and pulls a gun, a
No.
9mm.
Abraham pulls it sitting down. He grabs around for his back, and he's sitting down. He is like this, and he's sitting down and pulls a gun.
Okay, what'd Stitzel do?
Stitzel, when he fired, Stitzel's like really coked out. And I had my gun. There's a 4 thing right up there. It has like 4 things in that,
Little,
right, where you
like
can
a
just,
little gun safe?
yeah, but where you can get to the guns. And Abraham had another gun right beside him. He had one of those rifle things that we had already took out of the safe. We were putting it back in. And that gun was right there. It was a .38, the one y'all have. Howard reaches around there and gets that. That is loaded. It's
Gets
got
what?
The
What's-
.38.
And where was it again?
It's,
Show me on here.
okay,
If Howard's here, we're in relation in this room.
we're right here at the safe. Howard's right here. He reaches for the gun.
All right, so on the door of the safe, you have like little shelves.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me the 38's on one of those shelves? Or
Well, it's not a shelf. It's like an insert, like a
okay,
pocket.
to hang
Right.
pistols on the
Right.
door, inside door of a safe.
Right,
All
inside
right,
door.
Okay,
So
go
he,
ahead and sit down.
okay, so he pulls that out, and he fires at him,
At who?
at Abraham.
So take me back to Abraham. He goes and pulls a gun. Does he try to shoot it at Stitzel?
Yes, he does.
What's it, malfunction or what? Or
No,
was
he
it
didn't put
loaded, or
one.
what?
No, he didn't put one in the chamber. You know how you pull a gun back to put one in the chamber?
He didn't lock the slide back in chamber
Right.
around, but he had a magazine in it with bullets in it.
Yeah, he didn't like pull right. Abraham's not a kind of. I didn't even think he would do something like that. I think he was just mad, like you know what I mean. Money just been
All right,
like
so-
pulled up.
So he fires at Stitzel. Stitzel has the opportunity because your safe happens to be open with a loaded 38, and he reaches back and grabs a 38.
Yeah. Well, all the
And
safes
what?
open. There's a lot of loaded guns in there. So he reaches back in and shoots Abraham once, and then I don't think the other shot. I don't know if it hit him or not. I don't know. So
Stitzel, from what you were telling me, fires 2 shots, but you think one hit Abraham.
yeah. So
Where on Abraham did it hit him?
I'm not sure. I was told that it was up in the right shoulder.
What do you mean told?
But
I mean,
because
you were there.
Yeah, but you didn't see any blood. He had a black jacket on, and you didn't see any blood. Abraham got right up when it happened. Like that, he didn't fall back. He didn't, he got right up. Like as soon as it happened, he stands up. He didn't like fall over, slump over, dead. He's still talking. He's still coherent.
All right, so if he's talking, what's he saying?
He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's what he does. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
What's
Well,
Stitzel
I'm
doing?
grabbing my phone and I'm dialing up.
What's Stitzel or what's he saying or doing?
Stitzel's like in a daze. He's sitting there going, what the fuck just happened?
And what's this other guy standing in the kitchen area?
He's paying attention to me calling 911. I'm going to call 911. He's running around the desk to me. He's got a gun on him. He holds it up to me to stop. Stitzel looks at him and says, no, 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 I need her. Because I thought he was going to shoot me. And Stitzel says, no, 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 I need her. And he doesn't shoot me. I don't call 911. I'm dialing 911.
So you think this guy's going to come over and whack you or kill you?
Right,
And
right.
Stitzel's like, no, I need to keep her around
Right.
or something.
Yeah, he's like, no, 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 I need her. So, Abraham walks out with this guy, and he tells Howard, you need to get out of here, man. You need to get out of here. I'll take care of everything. You need to get out of here. Tells Howard that. I say, Howard, can I call you? And I'm talking to him.
So this guy, this bodyguard henchman drug dealer tells Howard, you need to get out of here.
Yeah, you need to get out of here right now. And
And what's Abraham doing at this time?
Abraham's like, he's like, is it real? You know what I mean? He was talking to for me.
He just took a round like somewhere on his body, and he's sitting there like, hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, well, it takes 2 seconds. He's like stands up and acts normal, like, you know what I mean, for a second, and he goes off with this guy, and this guy, Abraham and him are going through the door, and he's telling Howard to just get out of here. Get out.
So this guy basically escorts Abraham out.
Yeah.
Where?
He's going into the other room, into the kitchen. He's just standing, they're going into the kitchen where I can't see what's going on. I'm talking to Howard, and I'm like, Howard, I got a call. And he's like, listen, you call. He says, everything's going to fall back on you. You have all that shit in your name. You're going to get in trouble for this, and I'm going to say you did it.
So a guy under the influence of what you're saying is cocaine and marijuana
yeah,
is all of a sudden having moments of clarity and,
he's a lawyer.
and processing quickly.
Oh,
he just deliberately shot somebody about how it's all going to come back on you.
No, he said that he's like, you know, Dee Dee, you just, we'll take care of this. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. We'll take care of it. He's like, you know, this will come back on you. We'll take care of it. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And he's like freaking out. He's flipping out. And I'm flipping out for what just happened. So I go back into the blue room, like I said. I'm in
the room in the back
yeah.
where there was a bed, I think bedroom furniture.
Yeah.
Who was staying in that room?
Nobody at the time. I go back out and I sit in the blue room, and this guy's supposed to be taking care of it. You know, he'll take care of it. So I'm thinking he's going to go get Abraham help, and Abraham will be okay. And I stay in the blue room for a long period of time, just waiting to hear anything. Howard, I guess, has left at this point from there. And he just tells me they'll take care of it. He'll be fine.
They leave in a car? They leave outside?
Howard,
what?
No, Howard and him came in a car together. Howard left in a car, but Howard left him there carless. That guy did not have a car.
So he's still on your property?
He's still on my property. And I say, Howard, can I call you? And he's like, I don't have my cell phone with me. So
right, let me
Howard
ask you
didn't have
something
a cell
real
phone.
quick. Hang on. This guy so Howard takes off, and this unknown guy escorts Abraham out of that room. Into which room did he go into with him after he was shot? When he's saying, I'll take care of this, I'll take care of this.
He goes out into the kitchen, and then they go out to the garage, and there's a room right there.
Like another office?
Yeah,
Is that your
like
paintball office?
Yeah.
So he takes Abraham in that room or just out in the garage?
Well, just out in the garage. I don't know if he's taken him into the paintball office.
And is this guy a white guy, black guy, Hispanic guy, what?
He was a white guy.
Any other descriptions of him?
He just looked like a regular average height. Trying to think of any descriptive, no tattoos, I don't remember anything, you know, tattoo-wise, or medium build, a lot smaller than you, not a real big man or anything. He wasn't real big.
About how old?
Probably in his 40s, or so.
And you'd never met him before? Have you ever seen him on Stitzel's office property or anything before? All right, so you're back in the blue room, and what happens?
So I'm back in the blue room, and I wait there forever. This guy's telling me he's going to get a guy to come pick Abraham up and get help. So he's got 2 guys on the way to go get Abraham help.
Stitzel told you he's having somebody come to get him help?
No,
the unknown guy.
Yeah, when I peeked my head out there in the kitchen, I'm like...
So is it evident that Abraham had been shot at this point?
Well, he had the black jacket on, so I didn't see, like, him bleeding or anything. I didn't see, like, blood, and he got up. He got up like this, and I didn't, like, see blood, but I thought that I seen just a little, like, go on the carpet. But he wasn't, like, profusely bleeding everywhere or anything. It was, like, you know, in a daze. But I know that I was, like, in a daze myself. I couldn't believe what had just happened. So the guy tells me, you know, he's going to be okay. He'll take care of it. So he's in there, and I eventually go and just tell him, I gotta go. I couldn't handle, eventually I stay there, I sleep, I go to bed, I'm waiting for them to leave and get help and everything, and I lay down and I'm just miserable, and I'm hoping Howard will come back and talk to me or something, and I'm scared to do anything because I'm scared to go in the other room. I don't even want to know what's going on and what's happening and who he has coming. So I just lay there, and I lay there in bed, and the next morning I get up and I leave, and I go about my business. I go over to the house, I do stuff.
So what time of night was this that this was occurring? So you basically just go in this
I
blue room in the back.
I talked to Judy about 2 o'clock in the morning or something.
So this happened right before?
No, it happened before.
A while before?
Yeah, a while before. I talked
So why
to
at
Judy.
2 o'clock in the morning, why do you give Judy some other bullshit story about what happened? Why don't you just tell her what happened?
Because I was told that they would hurt me. I was told that I thought he was going to be okay.
So you thought it'd be better just to say that, Abraham got into
Yeah.
some type of sexual issue
Yeah.
with an underage person,
Right.
and somebody
Right.
got hurt or something,
Right.
and you sent Judy
Right.
to some hospital to follow up with this girl
No,
or something.
that was a different day. That time, the time he choked somebody, that was a different day. That wasn't that day.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Detective Wallace,
Oh.
but that was the same 2:15
Oh, was that
phone
one
call.
the?
3 o'clock in the
Oh, okay.
morning.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
anyway.
we'll carry on with this now.
Anyways, so we go in, and I come back the next day, and I don't see Abraham anywhere. Abraham's not in the house.
So when he was being escorted out to the garage, you didn't hear him say, "Oh, call me an ambulance, help me,"
No.
anything like that?
Nope.
And you just go in the blue room and you're frustrated or flustered that this has just happened. What am I to do? I'm just going to lay here and go to bed. No, seriously. I mean, that's what it sounded like. So you.
No, I was.
So did you fall asleep?
I was.
You fall asleep there because you said you
Well, I
woke up the
didn't.
next morning.
Yeah, well, I was not sleep. I was just sitting there, laying there, didn't know what to do.
So for the rest of the night until the sun comes up and
Just
the
hoping that
roosters
everything
start
will go
crowing,
away
you're
and that-
going to then
Right.
kind of walk out and
Right.
see what's going on. So what time do you think you finally left the blue room and walked out the next morning to the rest of the property or
There
that
was
house?
There was nothing there. I didn't see nobody.
Nobody was
nothing.
there. No,
I thought
no.
that everything was okay.
no blood smeared everywhere.
No blood, no nothing. No blood anywhere like that. And then I go and I find out that the guy is still there. He's
Where? Where on the property?
in the paintball room.
The garage?
The garage, in where the refrigerator is, that air conditioned room and stuff. And he tells me, he comes out of that room and he tells me that he needs a hole dug for the towels that Abraham bled some, and that I said, well, why can't you just burn them? And he's like, well, that'll show, blood and stuff. And I was like, well, why would you need a hole for towels? And I knew something had probably happened to him, and I just didn't want to know. I really didn't want to know. And I was like, well, why can't you just throw them away, or why can't we just wash them with bleach? And he's like, no, he's like, I need a fucking hole dug, bitch. I need a fucking hole dug. Just shut the fuck up and go get me a hole dug. So I call to get the hole dug.
James?
Mm-hmm. And I tell James that I need it for some concrete, and I knew I need it for concrete and towel. So that's what the guy is like. Tell him you need some, towel, some garbage put in it, or some concrete, because I had called him for holes dug for concrete before. In front of this garage, there was concrete poured in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
In front of it, there was concrete poured there too. So I go and tell him, I need the hole dug.
So James comes over.
So James comes over and
uses
does
the backhoe that's already on your property,
that. Mm-hmm.
And originally, you tell him to dig it right behind that red brick house?
Well, I guess, I didn't know I did that, but then he goes and he digs it, and
Did
then...
you show him where you wanted it dug? You show him how big?
You know, I think I just showed him, I think I said, you know, just dig it where I can, I don't remember, like, showing him how deep or how big or anything like that, to dig a hole. So, then I went back into the guy after James left, and I told him it's there, and I said, just let me know, and I went back into the blue room and laid down.
Okay, let me stop you there for a minute.
What?
You call, the guy tells you to dig a hole, or he needs a fucking hole dug for some fucking towels, okay? But yet, you call James to come over to run the backhoe? I mean, isn't that a little extreme for some towels? So you're telling us that you knew it was for a body?
No, I didn't know it was for a body. He wanted it deep. You know, I mean, he wanted to make sure that, you know, he had.
Why don't you just go outside, get in your car, and leave?
I wanted to, and the guy
But you didn't.
threatened me. He threatened me.
Well, if he's in a room with a body and some evidence, I mean, you could simply, if you went out there to contact James to bring a backhoe, and James comes over to dig a hole for you, and you're far enough away, you're a good, correct me if I'm wrong, Detective Wallace, probably a good 125 yards, 150 yards from the house where the hole was actually dug. You could have said, hey, James, there's a freak inside the house. I think he killed Abraham. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go call the cops. But no, you just sat there and said, here, put it here, about this wide and about this deep, 6 feet deep. Yeah, that'll, you know, maybe about 7 feet in length. That'll be perfect to fit a 6'5" man. Come on, Dee Dee.
Okay.
Here we are again.
Don't believe me on that part. So anyway.
I can't believe you on any part.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Really? Let's stop for a second.
What?
Okay. Dee Dee.
What?
At 11:45 that night, you talked to Sharp for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you just saw Abraham get shot. All this is going on.
I couldn't tell
Hang
you.
on.
I didn't want him.
Dee Dee. I talked to Shar. That call, there wasn't anything wrong with you. Nothing. Nothing was wrong. Everything was fine. Dee Dee, listen to me. Let's get a little farther, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Again, at 6:45 the next morning, you talked to Shar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? No problems. Nothing. Dee Dee. Another problem.
What?
Like I told you, I'm pretty good at my job, and I've been doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've already found out where Howard Stitzel was that night.
Where?
He was in a hotel, and I have video on the other side of the state. I got video, and I've got his cell phones and everything that night. I already had that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why'd you come up with this story now? Tell me the truth, why you came up with this story.
You just went home last night and started thinking of all sorts of crap, come in here and think you're going to make us happy. I mean, think we're idiots?
Because I don't believe that there was a person there that I don't know their name.
So you came up with this Howard Stitzel story.
The more stories you create, the less we're going to believe, of course. You're not reliable.
Believe that there is a person
Why
I don't
should
know
we?
their name.
Why should we believe anything that comes out of your mouth right now?
You shouldn't, but I don't know their name, and you don't believe it, and you were going to arrest James if I didn't know the person's name.
I still may arrest James.
So you went home last night. On the way home, you thought up the whole Howard Stitzel story, right?
Howard, I think, had something to do with it because somebody, one of those drug dealers, knew we had cash.
But Howard Stitzel wasn't there.
But Howard.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Look at me.
Whatever.
Howard Stitzel wasn't there, right?
Whatever.
Look at me.
Whatever.
Dee Dee, look at me.
Whatever.
Dee Dee, look at me. You came up with that story on the way home, right?
No, I didn't.
When did you come up with that story?
I didn't.
What do you mean you didn't?
Okay, you didn't come up with it last night. It was probably about
No.
7:30, 8 o'clock maybe this morning.
No.
So what are you telling me happened? Are you telling me that's the truth?
Yes.
Dee Dee, look at me. You're telling me that's the truth?
Yep.
So you're telling me that the video that I have of him somewhere else isn't the truth?
No.
That's a lie? My lying eyes should believe you over my lying eyes?
Yeah, you need to check the date on that.
Already checked the date, Dee Dee.
Okay.
Dee Dee, why are you coming up with the stories? Please, just tell us the truth. Tell us the truth.
I don't know what person sent the drug dealer, and I wanted you to check out everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, but that's not, hang on.
Howard, all of them.
Isn't
You
it,
wouldn't even look for nobody. You wouldn't look for them. You wouldn't
is
let
it not,
me look
hold
for
on,
'em.
is it not clear to you now that we've been talking this long, that I have checked out all these things? You just don't know that what I've done. You just don't know.
And this is the same, this is a different drug dealer than the one that sings his little crony to pick up whatever the $5,000 payments behind your son's bachelor pad at your property or at Abraham's property. Is this a different drug dealer guy? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Don't know. I think one drug dealer, I think the drug dealer yesterday you said was a black male. The one today is a white male. That was scruffy, but then got cleaned up. So, but the drug dealer from today the drug dealer today isn't the one that sends his little counterpart over to pick up the money from your Lakeland house, right? Am I right or wrong? I'm getting really confused now. I'm really confused. All these different drug dealers and robbers and
Names
people
and-
shooting people and this, that.
Is it not apparent to you? Is it not apparent to you, really, that this is? What's the? Is it that the truth is just too ugly to talk about? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Look, it's me and you in here. Talk to me. Tell me what this is about. Look, I can tell you what, as ugly, and like I told you yesterday, as ugly as it is, it's a hell of a lot better coming from your mouth than the picture, you know. I mean, the picture I've drawn is pretty damn close.
What's that?
Except for the small details of what actually happened in that room. Okay? It's
What's
just,
that?
I've told you, I've talked to you for 5 hours in the last 2 days. I've talked to you probably 30 hours overall.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Just tell the truth. Okay? Tell the truth. You can't hurt yourself any more than you've already hurt yourself. You really can't. There is nothing you can say that will...
Everything happened with all the people the same way every time. It's just that I don't know their names.
No, it didn't. No. It hasn't happened the same way. You have said so many different stories and spun so many different lies. It is amazing. You've got this imagination. I mean, maybe you should have written a book at some point because you come up with some of the biggest whoppers I've ever seen.
Are you sure you watched the video
Dee Dee,
and clarified?
Dee Dee, come on. Quit trying to live your reality. Quit trying to change. You're putting things in your mind and trying to live them out, and that's not how it is. You know, the only thing that's the truth is the truth, and tell the truth. Start it now and tell the truth. Come on. There very well may be another person involved. There very well may be that somebody else shot them. Okay? Well, then give the names. You know, look, you didn't on that night just happen to go by and these two people be there. You knew you were going there, and you knew the two people were there, and you knew what was going to happen. And it's time for you to tell the truth. Plain and simple. You can't keep spinning lies. You can't keep throwing everybody and their brother underneath the bus.
Because everybody and their brother had something to do with it. One of those people had something to do with it because one of those people knows. Because those are the people that wanted money out of him, Greg. Matthew wanted money from all of them.
The person who knows is you. The one of the persons out of all this that knows is you. Okay? You're the one who had the hole dug. You're the one who had the body put there. It's your property. All the money's in your name. Everything's you. Okay? The only person that's going to answer questions here is you. End of story. Okay? Because I can guarantee you, if it stops right now and the stories stop right now and where it is, like I told you, there's only two people that could be thrown in jail right now. That's you and James. End of story. End of story. Okay? Let justice prevail. Don't worry about why we brought your son up here.
Did you hurt him?
No.
Did you yell at him?
No. We don't yell at people until they start lying.
Did he cry?
Nobody here has lied except for you.
Because you don't believe me.
Because you lied.
And tried.
Because I don't believe your lies?
Because I've had to lie because you don't go and look out. Nobody
You
else.
haven't.
You don't listen to me.
You haven't had to lie, Dee Dee.
Yes, I have.
No, you have not.
I have had to rely profusely because you don't believe me. You don't believe me.
I don't believe you because they're lies. How can I believe lies? You lied because I don't believe you. That makes no absolute sense at all. I didn't believe you because they were lies. Okay? My God, I didn't believe lies. So I guess if I had believed your first lie, you wouldn't have to lie anymore, right? That makes a hell of a lot of sense. That's crazy. Think about what you're saying. I wouldn't have lied so much if you'd have believed my first lie. Well, no shit.
My lie all the time has been that there was somebody else there and I didn't know their name and you don't believe me.
That's
and then
not,
you tell me you're going to arrest James because of that, and that's not fair.
True. That can't be true.
Well, I don't care if it's not, if you
And
think
you know,
it's not true or
it's not true. You know it's not.
You won't look at any of these people
Dee.
that could have sent them. You won't look at any of them. You won't look at any of these guys.
Dee Dee, why do I need to go in circles when the person who can answer the question is sitting right in front of me? Fuck. I could go talk to 100 different people. I could talk to the president and ask him what he knows. But the whole key here is, you know. So why would I go talk to 100 people when the one person who has the information that I need is sitting right here in this office right now? The one person who's got a dead body in their backyard, who's got all the money of the dead guy, who's got all the knowledge is right here, and then you're telling me to run around and talk to everybody else.
Who
That's
pointed out
bullshit.
exactly where the dead guy is buried. I mean, right on the money. Maybe.
And knew that he didn't have shoes on.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Come
Because
on.
I was told that, and I told you that.
By who? Who told you? Was it Ronald or Cedric or who was it? You know,
The black male drug dealer,
the white
or the
drug
white
dealer.
male drug
Did you
dealer.
ever talk to James Shakespeare?
Howard.
Did you talk
Yes,
to
I did.
And what did he tell you?
You confronted him about lying about stuff too. You did the same thing with him as
What?
you've done with other people.
What did he say?
You were going to pay money for him to make a report that he had seen Abraham, and he told you he'd do it.
Okay, and what else?
That's it. That's another lie
How about
that you
Ted
spun.
Covington?
Another lie. Tell me about Ted. Come on. I have ran so many bullshit lies and little things, rabbit holes, as my partner here likes to talk about. I've ran through all of these. It is getting pathetic.
Because you want to arrest James, and you're blackmailing me to give you a name.
Look, stop your blackmail.
We want to
crap.
arrest the person that killed Abraham
Mm-hmm.
and buried him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so far, all the shit you've given us isn't panning out.
Because
other
I
than you.
didn't know their name, and I kept telling y'all that.
There,
And
you're
want-
putting a
you
plural, their name. Is it one person, two people, 12 people? I mean, I think tomorrow we're probably going to get a phone call about 10 o'clock in the morning saying, you know, guys, I really want to come in and talk to you. This time I'm going to tell you the truth.
I've told
You know,
you the truth
we're having a
at the
party,
beginning, and you
and there's
wouldn't.
40
you
people
threatened
hanging out in my
At the
office,
beginning?
and we had a cake going.
Hang on, hold on. At the beginning you told us the truth?
You threatened to
Hold on,
arrest
let's go
James.
back to the beginning. Abraham's alive, and I talk to him all the time, and I text him, and he calls me back. There's the beginning. That was the beginning for 2 goddamn months.
You threatened to arrest James, and James has...
No. Stop
Get
that.
off the
Stop for a
bat.
minute.
Get
There's
off
no
the bat.
blackmail, there's no threat, okay? What I've told you are the facts. I laid out the facts there. I laid out the facts as they are now, okay? There was a dead body that you knew where it was at. That was shot with your gun. No, don't say, no, be quiet. Shot with your gun at your property underneath that slab.
Because I was told...
No, stop.
It wasn't
Without
your
shoes,
fault.
and you put the exact spot. You put a damn piece of metal right there, okay? The hole was dug by your ex-husband, okay? Plain and simple. There's the facts. There's the facts. Undisputable at this point, okay? With those facts, the only 2 people that can be in trouble for this right now are Dee Dee Moore and James Moore. There's the facts. I'm not threatening. I'm not blackmailing. I'm not doing anything.
But if I didn't come up with a name that I don't know, you were going to arrest
No,
me.
look.
We never said that.
Yes, you did.
No, we did
A
not.
couple of times. Rewind the tape from yesterday.
You confirmed to us that James dug the hole. He admitted to digging
And
the
you
hole.
said if I didn't tell you who did it, that you would arrest him, and he
What did
kept
I
saying
say?
he
I
was
said,
gonna
go pick
call
him up. I said, call and go pick him up. What'd they do?
That's not fair.
What did they do? They went and picked him up. Didn't they?
Did they arrested him?
You talked.
They went and picked him up, right?
Yeah, but did they arrest him?
They picked him up. I didn't say they arrested him. I said, go pick him up.
Oh. Well, he...
And he came down here voluntarily because guess what? He's
has nothing to do
cooperative.
with it, right.
He's cooperative so far.
But I am
Unfortunately,
cooperative. You want a name and you want me to make you up a name.
You are not being cooperative,
You
Dee
keep
Dee.
wanting me to make you up a name.
You're
Oh,
doing
no.
nothing but lying. You're
You
doing nothing
make
but
up
lying.
too much already. I don't want you to make up anything more. I want you to tell me the truth. Tell the truth.
Everything happened just like it is and all the stories, but I just don't know people's names.
That's not... Okay, let's go with your logic here, your lack of logic. You set up a little thing to go to Hard Rock Casino. You pick up Abraham. You go to your office, and there's two people that you don't know in your office. Are you kidding me? How in the hell is anybody going to believe that? Your own family doesn't believe it.
I will end up going to jail. That's fine.
Your own family doesn't believe it.
I know that. I don't care. I'll end up going to jail for it.
How do you not care? That's the craziest thing in my life.
I don't have a
No,
choice.
you're protecting somebody. You're trying to protect yourself because you know if we talk to the real person who was there, it's going to spill it all out, and it's going to make it look worse than ever.
They're waiting for the knock at the door. Because
And when that
all the
happens,
evidence
you're really
is collected.
screwed.
The body's been uncovered,
Well,
the gun we have.
Haven't you checked the body for fingerprints?
We're not going to tell you what we checked that body for. His body had his medical examination done.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know any further than that.
I can tell you right now, it's a hell of a lot better to stand in front of that judge and be able to say, here's what happened, and I told him what happened, than to us stand up there
Please
and
show
paint
me
the
some
picture.
leniency because I've been truthful. It's not going to happen now.
I
Now,
made
these
a
kind of
mistake.
stories.
Your Honor, I've made a mistake.
I told you the same story over and
No,
over and
you
over. I
didn't.
just don't
No,
know the
you
people's
didn't.
Oh,
names.
you told us a lot of stories over
Which
and over.
story? Yeah.
I
Just
can't
don't
remember
know their
them all.
name.
So how did these people that you don't know their name come to be in your house? How did that happen? At the time that you're on the way to
Because
their...
one of those people that I kept mentioning all their names, one of them had something to do with it. Somebody knew.
Oh, they knew that you were going to go... They knew you were going to the Hard Rock Casino, and they knew you were going to run by there. Oh, and the person that you don't know anymore, you had to carry on this charade for 7 months because you didn't even know who the hell they were. Right? Oh, that's right, because you're afraid of your family. The family that, they come up and they get money off your back porch, but they live over top of the
You don't
thing.
even let me look at a book to see if I can...
That's like Barney Miller days. We don't have books of photos that you flip through. Everything's computerized. They're called photo packs. And that's neither here nor there. That's not going to do anything for us right now because all the facts and everything points to Dee Dee Moore. By the way, you still got all those phone numbers on the bottom of your feet? I noticed you added some on your wrist there.
I know I need them. I know.
Yeah, don't wash them off.
And what pictures? And what pictures are we going to show you? Of a white drug dealer in his 40s? Of a black guy here? Of a white person? What the hell?
Yeah, the way things are going, we'll be here for months going through booking photos between our two counties.
I mean, Christ, Dee Dee, when I sat here yesterday, you said, you tell me who. You tell me who. I could have said anybody. Hell, I could have said Dave Clark's name. You'd have gone, yep, that's who it
Who do you
was.
think I'm covering for?
The minute name. Huh?
I said, who do you think I'm covering for?
Why don't you
Well,
tell
then
us?
tell me.
Why don't you tell us?
Who is it? Who is it?
She's
You
thinking.
will figure it out.
She's thinking.
You're going to tell me. Think you're thinking, yeah, because I got the same facial tics.
Yeah.
You're good. You'll figure
Oh, is
it
that
out.
who I just said? Dave Clark. Is that who it is?
Nope.
Are you sure?
Absolutely not.
That's the only name you haven't brought up yet.
Well, all those people could have had something to do with it that I did bring up.
Everybody could have had something to do with it. I could have had something to do with it. He could have had something to do with it.
But you know I'm not the one that shot him. I wouldn't hurt him.
Then who did, Dee Dee? Tell us. Tell us. I guess it's so important that you can't tell us that you're going to let your son go without a mother for the rest of his life. That's great.
That's a
That's
shame.
so wonderful.
That's selfish. That's just
joke.
pure selfishness right there.
What a joke. You don't care
He's
about
your
it. Any person
biological
but
son,
yourself.
right?
So just because I can't give you the name of the person that shot him, I go to life prison? I go to
You know
prison
the
for life?
person.
Dee Dee.
Yeah, probably life term. Yeah.
Because I won't give up the name.
It's not because you won't give it a name, it's because all the factual basis point to you as
Dee Dee,
being involved.
You don't realize that we're talking about life in prison here? Are you that ignorant?
What are you, 37 years old?
I didn't shoot him.
What do you think we're talking about? You think you're going to go to day camp? Daddy daycare for 3
I
weeks?
didn't shoot him.
Dee Dee, we're talking about the rest of your life. We're talking about potential death penalty cases.
That's not fair. I didn't shoot him.
Fair? How hey, fair somewhere where you eat cotton candy and ride on a Ferris wheel?
Yeah.
This is life. Come on.
There's no pedicures in prison. There's no, having your hair done. There isn't wearing comfortable clothes. It's wearing jumpsuits every day.
Most people would run or something. They got to feel guilty. I didn't do anything wrong.
Dee Dee,
I didn't do nothing wrong at all.
How can you sit here and speak of these stories and still wear that big old cross around your neck? By the way, where'd you get that nice gold cross from?
That was mine before Abraham. Everything.
Why did you say Abraham? Why does it have to be about Abraham?
Because everything y'all think is money. I could care less if I live in a cardboard box.
Where's the cross that Abraham used to wear? All the time.
I don't know.
It ain't that one?
No, it's absolutely not this one.
I hope not. We're
That would
gonna
be
find
sick.
out. Well, there's
Maybe
a lot of sick
trophy.
things that happen.
A lot of people do sick things and keep things called
Wow.
like trophies and stuff.
No.
We just didn't know if you were.
Dee Dee, it's a very
just asking. Don't take offense to it.
At the very least, Dee Dee, you are part of accessory to murder. At the very, very least. At the very most, you're guilty of first-degree murder.
I did not kill him, and you know.
Oh, I know. No, I don't know that. How do I know that?
Ballistics, me standing up, height-wise.
Oh, that you have lost your
Come on,
mind.
you watch all that garbage. That's all crime drama on TV.
That is not happening.
That's
here.
not going to prove. That's not going to be the magical evidence.
But
that
you
just
kept
proves you from
blackmailing and saying
shooting.
you were going to arrest him.
Oh,
if
this
you
blackmailing term coming from? I don't. That
don't
makes no sense at all. Absolutely no sense at all.
You're wanting me to force you
We're
to give you a name
discussing factual
of these people, and I
basis.
don't.
No,
Factual basis.
Dee Dee,
I don't know the
Dee Dee,
name.
hush up a minute. We're discussing the reality, the factual basis of this investigation. There is no way, shape, or form it's in the context of blackmail. You're not being blackmailed. You're in here to discuss the truth about what happened to Abraham Shakespeare in your office on the property where he was buried that you own, where you pointed it out.
I didn't point it out.
Now we're going.
I didn't do that. I told you that guy told me that stuff.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Dig down here and at an angle, right under that. Guess where it was? Right under that. Hey, he doesn't have any shoes on. He doesn't have any shoes on. It's right there. There's the gun.
The guy told me
Get rid
that.
of it. Hey, get rid of it. Oh, by the way, make sure you take the battery out of the handle because my fingerprints are all over that. Come on! Come on! Fantasyland's over, darling.
Now you're referring to the battery and the laser sight? Huh?
So who do you
That's a nice gun.
Who do I think right now? You! You! That's who I
I
think.
would never kill him.
I would never do this. I would never do that. Hold on, I can remember an exact one. Dee Dee, would you pay somebody to say they'd seen Abraham, call the police, say, and thank Dee Dee, would you offer somebody a house to say they saw Abraham? I would never do that. I would never, ever, ever do that.
When there's
Never.
somebody her practicing at a range recently too with some
Oh
firearms.
yeah, she went shooting at the
Yeah,
range
yeah.
before with that
They
same
know how to
gun.
handle firearms. You know how to
What's her
shoot that little
son?
38, hammerless 38 with a nice
I would
laser,
never kill him.
master grip laser on it. That'd be real easy to shoot.
Never do that. Oh, here's the audio. Boom. Hey, I'll give you the house. Okay, I did that. Let's think of another one. Let's think of another Dee Dee Moore special that we've had over the last 2 months. Dee Dee, hold on. Here's another good one. The beginning of that one, 2 days earlier. Hey, Dee Dee, do you know some Toria? But oh yeah, that's Abraham's baby's mama. Well, we got a report that she might have called Lakeland Police Department and seen him. Oh my God! If she did that, then there's no way she's lying. There's no, oh my God, thank God, no, be quiet. Thank God this is over. Thank God this is over. And you grab your phone. Centoria, why didn't you tell me this morning when I told you that you had seen Abraham? Tears were flowing. Why didn't you tell me this thing? Thank God you know how this has ruined my life. This thing is over. Gee, I can't believe you didn't tell me you know how it's ruining my life. Of course, you know, the night before you were on the phone offering the damn house to make that report. I would never do that. Never, ever. Come on. What else? What else can we go over? Oh, the letter was classic. Let me type out a 2-page letter from an illiterate man. Mama, why didn't you, how could you not know my voice, Mama? This poor woman, 70-something years old.
I was scared.
70-something years old.
I was scared because I'm getting charged with a crime I did not.
Do you know back then you weren't getting charged with a crime?
You're
okay,
still,
You're trying to cover it all up.
Right, because I'm getting in trouble for something I didn't commit.
It's funny, you know what's funny?
I'm going to jail for something I did not do.
I can imagine the jury and the judge are going to find it how scared you were while you're laughing, writing out the letter, some of the stuff you said. You know? You were so frightened, you've driven all over the hood in that Hummer of yours for a while.
Like
you know?
Yeah, that sticks out pretty well.
How scared were you when you took some of the trips you've taken? How scared have you been? I don't know. How scared were you when you were meeting some of these guys up at the mall and talking to these guys?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were just scared to death. Oh my God, fearful.
If you were so scared with that money, why not just get out of town and move away?
If you checked them out, all these people, one of them would lead you to who was there.
Oh, so that's why when you met them, you told us about it?
All of them have been interviewed thoroughly.
Unbelievable.
What do you think they've been doing the last, 10, 11 months? Think they had just been sitting around?
And somebody's going to come into you with one of those guys and go, yeah, I sent somebody over there to rob them. Somebody's going to say that. One of those people are going to say, yeah, I hired somebody to go over there and rob them. I knew they were going to be there. I knew they were
No, they wouldn't. You know why? Because none of them did. You did. That's why. Nobody knew you guys were going to be there but you. Mm-hmm. No one knew but you.
So I hired 2 guys to do it.
I don't know. Maybe you just did it by yourself. But we don't ever know the truth till you tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not, I'm slowly but surely losing faith.
Did you forget between, what time did you leave here last night? 7 o'clock or something? 7:05, 7:10 last night is when you left. Mm-hmm. You were here for 3 hours talking to Detective Wallace and myself. Have you already forgotten between the time you left and now what stories you had told us last night? At one point you were saying how you were in fear and he was choking you. Abraham came and started choking you. So he choked you there. And, he choked you that same night when there was a white male drug dealer this time, and Howard Stitzel staying in front of an open safe with access to a loaded .38 with a laser sight.
And then you shot him, and then Howard shot him. And
because I knew Howard would talk to you. You would go talk to Howard, and Howard would tell you I wouldn't do something like that.
Some property, yeah.
And then maybe find out who did.
Everybody. Well, you go talk to them, and they'll tell you this. We go talk to them.
Howard will tell you who did, tell you what kind of person I am and that I wouldn't kill him. And
be careful what you say. Howard will tell us. Because it ain't like that. It ain't like that.
He's an attorney with his own attorneys.
He'll tell you I didn't kill him.
Oh, you think so?
I wouldn't have nothing to do with it.
How many hours did we spend with Howard the other day?
Couple, yeah. It was a few hours.
I don't think I ever heard it once out of his mouth that Dee Dee Moore would never do anything like that.
She's a saint. She would never hurt anybody.
No, that wasn't said. That's the first time I heard that. Comes out of your mouth.
No, that didn't happen. We talked to him extensively. I mean, you're running into all these brick walls, Dee Dee. Again, you're spinning our wheels.
You're on the edge. You're standing there just looking over the cliff. It's just time to jump. Time to get done with it.
I told you not to come in here and waste my time again.
Well, I thought that.
You thought that story would work. You thought you were gonna fool 2 detectives with almost 30 years experience between the 2 of us with a story like that? Come on, that was a shitty story.
Hell, let's not even add him. How did you think you were gonna beat me? How did you think that?
Because you don't believe me that I don't know their names.
Because it's not true.
I don't
So you
know
thought you were
their
gonna,
names.
that I was just gonna hook, line, and sinker your next little story?
No, I didn't think.
How about the one last night when you got up there? Hey,
How
how
would
when
you
you
get
got
arrested?
real
You would go
serious?
actually talk to him, and he would
I've already
kind of
talked to
person I
him.
am, and he'd tell you
Oh,
I wouldn't do
hang on a
that.
minute. Hang on a minute. So you're gonna tell me Howard Sitzel killed him, and I'm gonna go talk to Howard Sitzel and say, hey, Dee Dee Moore told me that you shot the sumbitch, and then he's gonna say, oh, well, Dee Dee Moore didn't do it.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
would.
Oh yeah. Okay, Dee Dee Moore just accused you of being a first-degree murderer. What do you have to say about that, Howard?
Oh, she didn't shoot him.
Jesus saint!
Come on.
Are you kidding me? What kind of fantasy land? Wow. Think about what you're saying. Well, I thought if I would lie about this, that you would check this out, that you would do this. Are you kidding me? Every little move you've done since we first met you has been calculated to try and keep us from the truth, which is Dee Dee Moore is responsible for the death of Abraham Shakespeare.
I am not.
Dee Dee Moore is responsible for the death of Abraham Shakespeare.
I would not.
And that is the truth.
I would not kill him.
And,
So
and it
help
all
me
goes
God.
back to you targeting Abraham Shakespeare sometime, I guess, last year with the notion of you're going to write a book about the man. Have you ever even written a book before?
Yeah.
What?
Organize Me Now.
And is that published?
Mm-hmm.
Who published it?
Arthur Books or Arthur Publishing. You can look it up online.
Organize Me Now. What is this book, Organize Me Now, about?
Organizing your financial stuff.
Oh, you know that well, don't you?
For 2 hours.
Especially when it comes to other people's money.
I didn't steal his money. The
All right,
money
where-
is.
that-
I didn't steal his money. I really don't know
Dee
the
Dee.
two people's names, and you don't believe me, and you were going to arrest
Dee Dee,
James
Dee
and
Dee,
blackmail
Dee
me
Dee,
to
Dee
come
Dee.
up with names.
For 2 hours last night, we sat here with RJ.
Court
and
would've
he
been-
cried. Listen to me.
Did you
Quit
just
thinking
hear what
about
he said?
yourself.
RJ, 2 hours here last night.
2 hours last night with RJ crying his eyes out.
While you were down here in this room. He was down on there, on the other.
2 hours.
Same building. That's his mama.
Your son is going to school and getting ridiculed by other people because of you. Because of you, he can't even go to school and get an education right now. Because
I
of
didn't
you.
ridiculed. I didn't kill the man.
Because of
Are
the
you
talk.
kidding
Everybody
me?
knows this whole story between Plant City and Lakeland and
But
the
I
whole
didn't
east side of
kill the
county.
man. I
But
said
you know what? You don't
people were
care.
there, and
You don't care because you don't care about anybody but
because you
you.
won't believe me that I
You
don't know
don't
their
care
names.
about anybody but yourself. You don't. You don't care. You're a selfish woman.
I am not
If I
selfish.
tell you the truth, can I keep my stuff?
No, I don't care about my stuff. You can have it all. You can have every bit of it.
That's
You
a
can have all
quote.
my stuff.
That's a quote.
You
That's a
can-
quote from you.
You can
If I
have all
tell
my
you
stuff.
the truth, can I keep my stuff?
I didn't mean it that way.
Oh yeah, well you don't mean anything.
No.
You probably didn't mean to kill
You can have
Abraham.
all my stuff.
You probably didn't mean to. That makes it better. Hey, maybe if you just hang on, I just thought. Will you apologize for killing Abraham? Then we can forget all about it. Remember, that's your big thing. I've apologized for that. Forget that I've lied because I've apologized for that. Apologize for killing Abraham. Maybe we can just walk out of here and call it a day.
I didn't kill Abraham.
You're responsible for his death.
Well,
You
then
covered it up.
charge me for being responsible, but I didn't kill him.
Charge him for first-degree murder.
How can you charge me for first-degree murder when I
It's
didn't pull
easy.
the trigger?
The probable cause is that.
Because of the money, and the money I don't give a shit about.
I'm not talking about the money.
I don't care about the money.
Are you kidding me?
I
You
don't
don't
believe
care about
that
the
either.
money. You started off
Shit,
this
you
whole. You went to Lakeland and started telling, "Oh, I made $4 million. I'm a rich woman. Woo, woo, woo." You haven't made $4 million in your life. You're a liar. You are a liar.
That's what you're good at. That's your job, lying.
No, I'm lying because you won't look at the truth. You won't
Mm.
look that I really didn't know the two people. And it doesn't matter what I say. I keep making up all kinds of stuff so you'll check these people out because you won't look at the people.
Dee, we've looked at everybody. Quit that stuff. We've looked at everybody. And you know where it all leads back to? You.
Because of the money.
It all leads back
The
to,
money
no, not
doesn't
because
mean
of the
nothing.
money. Not because of the money. Because of everything. All roads lead to Dee Dee Moore.
The money
In the
doesn't
snow,
mean anything.
forget, the money's a big thing, but everything else.
The money I got legally. And Cedric and the people that were there will testify to that.
So, yeah, well, hey, why don't we just end this whole thing because of Cedric?
Yeah, let's just go there and get the truth out of Cedric, and this is all over.
And Cedric will probably tell you, I really didn't know these two guys. That somebody would have sent them.
Based on the last conversation we had with Cedric Edom on Tuesday afternoon and the recording he gave us, I wouldn't bet on that, Dee Dee. The man doesn't like you. Okay? Do you think he's going to cover for you and say, oh, yeah, I can't stand her, and she's trying to take this house and lie to me that, Abraham's still alive and well, and I've been recording these conversations with her to prove to you guys that she's involved in that. She's embezzling his money. But you know what, guys? Seriously, in all truthfulness, there probably was two different drug dealers that came in and killed him at a property. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Okay.
They would. What?
You're sitting there saying that I killed the man by myself and put him in a hole. That's what you're trying to say. That a jury really
that James dug the hole, so at least he covered the kind of physical aspects on it. With the equipment you have on your property, it's just not a big deal to move, a 6'5" man that probably weighed 190 pounds. I mean, you look like you probably got some strength to you. It wouldn't be that hard to drag somebody.
Marcus dig the hole. I was thinking of things last night.
Oh, we know.
He
even asked him. He goes, "Why did she have me clear her property?"
I would not have room reserved.
Cliff notes for storage.
I would not have moved stuff over to the office already. Baber came up and got stuff out of his stuff. Months before, he would have called the cops on me if I took something from him. And he told the hoot man that I'd bought his house. He told Hoyt that I bought his house. I mean.
Yeah, let me see that a minute.
The Hoot Man. Who's the Hoot Man? That's a new one. Maybe Hoot Man did it. Who is Hoot? Do you think Hoyt Hughes might have been in on it?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You're positive?
Hoyt definitely wouldn't do it.
Hoyt wouldn't do it? I mean, he owed money to Hoyt. Hoyt owed money too.
Nope.
What about Hoot Man?
Nope.
No? What about who else? God, I'm trying to think. We've seen so many.
I only mentioned the ones that I thought.
Was it Eddie Dixon? Because you told me it was Eddie Dixon before.
No.
That we hadn't looked at Eddie Dixon. Oh, early on. Did you look at people like Eddie Dixon? Poppy. What about Poppy?
I know it's not Poppy.
How do you know it's not Poppy? You told us it was Poppy before.
I know what Poppy looks like.
But maybe it was Poppy's people. Remember, he's a dangerous man. You remember all that?
Did you say he's a terrorist or something?
A terrorist. He's scary
maybe it
people.
was Al-Qaeda that came in that are connected to Poppy. That's it. Al-Qaeda. Yeah.
Dee Dee, you've thrown so many bullshit flags up, it's ridiculous. Why could you not come to grips with the truth? Why?
Because I didn't kill the man.
Then who did? Who did? Who did it? Who killed him? Think real hard, because this might be a good one.
No, I'm not going to make up more. I can't tell you.
You can't tell me?
No.
Why can't you? Why can't you tell me, Dee Dee? Why can't you?
I can't tell you.
Why?
Just arrest me.
Why, Dee Dee? Why can't you tell me?
I can't.
Why? Why can't you?
You can't tell us because it's you. And you're scared. That's what it is. Sure.
Why would I say arrest me then and charge me with it?
Because you know you're guilty. You know you did it.
No, I didn't. But why would I tell you to arrest me and charge me with it when I didn't do it? But I will go ahead and take the charge so everybody else is.
And who is so important that you're going to take this charge for?
Yeah.
Let's hear this whopper. Let's go.
Yeah. Why can't you tell me?
I'm not telling you. I just arrest me, and I told you I will.
Why are you not telling us?
Something.
Why can't you tell us?
You told me last night you pretty much knew who it was, so you should know why I can't tell you. So.
Oh, don't play the games. The game's in.
Like that.
You tell me who it was.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Why can't you tell me, Dee Dee? Oh, because you don't know his name.
It's one of the drug dealer guys, don't forget, black male, white male.
That mysteriously showed up at the place where they were just stopping by. It was just a quick thing, right?
How you doing, kind of thing.
All right, we got lucky tonight. There's Abraham and Dee Dee. Let's kill him and leave her alive.
And leave her alive to be the key witness. We'll even do one better and come back and bury him on her property. Yay.
No, we'll make her bury him because she's scared, and then we can get money off the porch, and we can...
I don't want anything
Yeah.
money-wise. I'll sign it over now. You can have what he gave me back. I will sign it over.
Just leave the gay part out. Just leave that. Who killed the man? If you didn't do it, Dee Dee, who did it? How does a 37-year-old white woman from Plant City end up in this predicament? This is silly.
It is.
And you're sitting there acting like a complete idiot.
I know.
I can't. It was Cedric. I can't. Ronald. I can't.
Because I wanted to check out
Very gay.
who all could.
I can't.
Greg Massey.
Greg
Did
Massey.
you ever check out
I
Very Gay?
can't.
What'd you find out? Very Gay?
Ted Covington. I can't.
What'd you find out?
Howard did it now.
What did you find
Dee
out?
Dee, I'm not investigating stuff for you. I want to know who killed Abraham Shakespeare.
Very Gay is related to Richard Land.
Oh my God. No. Oh, Richard Land's involved now?
No, absolutely not. Richard is absolutely not involved.
So why is it such a big mystery that Fairy Gay is related to Richard Land?
No, I didn't say that. He wasn't related. He knows of him. He knows who Very Gay is.
You said he's related to
Yeah,
Richard Land.
Well,
related.
not related, but he knows.
You're starting
Very
to get
Gay.
mixed up. You're starting
He
to
knows
forget
Very
what
Gay.
you just
He's a
said.
drug dealer. So you never even
You just
checked
dug
into
yourself
him.
a hole so deep you just can't get out. You don't even know what you're saying anymore.
Dee Dee. You've been going around since this all happened. You were calling Richard, you were calling the other people, and you're trying to come up with more stories. And that's right. Fairy Gay got arrested recently on a 40-kilo deal, and he had a black Mercedes, and this and that. And I think it might be real. Yeah, you planted that fucking seed in Richard Land's head. So I get a phone call from him. Oh, this thing might be. Hey, Dee Dee called me, and check this out. This thing may be bigger than you guys know about. There's been some drug dealing and this and that. Where'd you get that from? Well, Dee Dee was telling me about this. Dee Dee, it all comes back to you!
It's not fake. That was real.
Okay, well that's true, but it has nothing to do with Abraham.
Very Gay happened.
It happened,
The
but
FBI is looking for who knows.
if you want, okay, but he doesn't know Abraham. If you want to go out and read the newspaper and come up with somebody new next week, then what are we going to do then?
I didn't read the newspaper to get that information.
Oh, well, where'd you get it? Did you buy it from Troy Young? What the world? Where'd you get it?
No. And Troy Young didn't deserve to lose his job. He shouldn't have did stuff he shouldn't have supposed to have been doing. But I haven't done anything wrong, so I shouldn't go to prison for something I haven't even done.
Dee Dee, tell us what happened then. Don't come up with fake names. You need to run this down.
I gave you the exact scenario of everything happened except for the names of people.
Well, then why not give the names?
Every time I gave the same exact story of exactly how it happened except
No,
for the
you
names.
haven't. No, you haven't.
No, they've been
different.
different versions.
Ronald, Cedric, this, that, blah, blah, blah.
Shit, you even named your own son at one point.
I did not name my son.
Yes,
I
you
would
did.
never do that.
That was
No, I
Monday
didn't.
night.
You did too.
No, I did not.
To Dave Clark, you damn
No,
sure did.
Dave Clark suggested that to me. He says, "Was it your son?"
And what did you say when you were walking outside? Oh, well, he did what he did to protect his mother.
No, I did not. I absolutely did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not. I didn't say that. No, my son.
You have ruined that boy's life. He'll never be the same.
I know that, and I
Never be the same because of you.
But he knows
Because of you, and you know what?
Nobody.
And you know what? You don't care.
You don't care. You care about you.
No, I
You're
do
the
care.
only one that you care about. You're the most selfish woman I've ever seen in my life.
No, I do care.
And who do you care about? When you look in the mirror, I care about me, and that's
no,
it.
I don't. I'm going to go in prison for something I didn't even do and sit on a mattress with no pillow.
No,
With
they
no
give you
pillow.
pillows
No,
in
you get a
prison.
pillow.
Yeah, they give you pillows.
Oh, I heard
You
they
even
did.
get, yeah, you even
They
get
give you
like a
nice
blanket.
pillows and blankets, sheets, all that stuff. You
Oh.
get linens in prison.
Oh.
3 meals
They're
a
not,
day.
I don't think they're
Oh, it's
300
just
count.
jail?
No, jail you have pillows too.
Everybody told me you didn't get a pillow.
Falkenberg has great pillows. Orient Road has great pillows.
Oh, they told me you
In
didn't
fact,
get
the
a pillow.
laundry room's right over here. Yeah, I see it every morning when I come into
Oh.
work. They're out there cleaning the sheets and drying. Oh yeah,
You can get a job too. They can give you work while you're there. You can clean,
Yeah.
you can wash, or you can cook. I mean, you do that for the rest of your life.
That's fine. I guess I'm gonna have to. I don't have a
Do you know how to
I'm
cook?
trained.
I mean, do you have like culinary skills and stuff?
Yeah, I know how to cook.
Can you cook for 3,000?
That could be valuable over there.
Yeah. I can do that.
Maybe you can do that. You can like stir the beans and put together bologna sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different trustee positions at different state prisons around
Look on the
state
bright
of Florida.
side of it. You got to blow through $1 million. A lot of people will never get to do that.
Yeah.
At least you get to do that before you're into your life ended.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go to prison and I'll have to fight my way out. I know.
You'll never get out. You're never getting out.
Why?
It's done.
Once you get sentenced to a prison sentence,
I thought
you gotta...
life in prison was 25 years.
Oh, no.
No.
This is
Life
murder
in prison
here.
means like the rest of your life.
Natural born
If
life.
you were getting 25 years and the judge say, 25-year sentence, 35-year sentence, 50-year sentence, life in prison means when you go in, you don't come out.
Yeah.
Kind of like what is that, Roach Motel thing? Roaches go in, they don't come out. You know, kind
You're the roach.
Yeah, you'd be the roach. You go in, you won't come out. That's life. That's life in prison.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking.
But don't forget they have pillows, blankets, sheets. You don't have to worry about that.
And shower shoes. You get
Shower
orange
shoes,
plastic
yeah.
shower shoes.
They even have hot water.
They have hot water.
You get to shower with other people. You know.
It won't be like that shower that's in that red brick home, that nicely renovated bathroom. It won't be like that. It's, big
Very
open room,
essential.
tile, bunch of shower heads popping out. Yeah, that kind of thing.
That's not fair when I didn't kill anybody.
But you don't seem to want to tell us the truth.
I mean, what do you want us to do? Say, all right, you're right, Dee Dee. Gee, that's not fair. I mean, we got everything pointed to Dee Dee Moore, so, hey, all right, not fair.
Hey, but she
we'll go
told
tell
us
the
it
judge
was.
it ain't fair.
She told me it's not fair, and she didn't do it. So, Your Honor, I think that's...
That may hold
Reason
some
to know.
credence.
And I tried to name all the people's
Reason-
names that could have had somebody sent there to do it, and you wouldn't look any of them
That
up.
could have. Somebody could have done this. Somebody could... Of course, I was standing there, and I buried the damn body, and I'm part of it, but I'm not...
And then I even
Didn't
showed
do
right
that.
where it is, underneath the little piece of metal, and whispered
Didn't
away.
do
Here.
that.
Here's the gun that he was killed
They
with.
didn't do
Here's
that.
the body.
But I'm not going to say who it was, but there's a ton of people that it could be.
I didn't do that.
Hell, it could be somebody that we don't even know about. It could be anyone. I might have passed the guy this morning on the way here.
Because 60's a real busy
Yeah.
thoroughfare between your county
I
and
might have
mine.
seen him last time I went to dinner at Barnacles. The guy might have been there. There's a lot of people I saw.
Mhm.
I stopped off this morning at the Circle K. I saw some people. Might have been one of them.
Yesterday when we had lunch, that was a busy restaurant. A
It's
lot of people
been,
there.
it's been since April, so that person may not only be in the area anymore. Now you got to expand it to really the eastern,
Worldwide.
the western hemisphere, worldwide.
Let's just say worldwide. I mean,
Since
travel
what
is
6 billion people in the world.
roughly maybe 6.2
It could have been
or
even-
something.
But it's not fair. I thought that
But there's only
justice,
one
that you go to
person-
court and get to prove your innocence, that you
There's
didn't kill
only
somebody.
one person that had the body buried in their backyard. There's only one person that handed the gun over that killed him. There's only one person who pinpointed exactly where it was at. And there's only one person that can answer the questions, and it's not.
Yeah. Dee Dee Moore.
It's you.
Yeah.
But you know I didn't kill him.
No, I don't. I do not know that. No, don't you look at me and tell me that. I don't know that.
Well,
Don't sit there, I'm not going to be one of your people that you go talk to Dave Wallace, he'll tell you, he knows I didn't kill him. No, I think you did. I think you're a cold-hearted woman. I
Well,
think
then
you
why
planned
haven't
the
you
whole thing
arrested
out.
me?
I think,
We're doing we still got some other things we're working on.
Like finding out the real person that killed him.
No.
Well, I didn't kill him.
I wonder what's
in court.
exactly what's worse.
That's
Is it
fine.
jail or is the anticipation of going to jail that's worse?
I'm not running. I don't care. I already put myself mentally up that I know that I'm going to get blamed for this. I know that I'm going to go there innocently. And if y'all can put an innocent person in jail knowing I didn't pull the trigger and charge me with first-degree murder, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. I don't.
I honestly, since about Monday morning, about the time you handed over the gun, I've had no problems at all.
Well, then you live with
Especially
that for
after
the rest
that
of your life.
man's decomposed corpse was dug up from your backyard.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was sick. Do you
That
think
is
we
sick.
enjoyed that?
No,
Do you
that's
think we
sick.
enjoyed digging and
I don't
pulling
even
sand
wanna
from his
hear it
body?
anymore.
Why? You put him
Why?
down there?
You put him
I
down
did
there.
not
You
put
showed
him
right
there.
where he
I
was.
did
You had the
not
hole
put him
dug
there.
for him.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
I shouldn't say a hole, I should say a rectangular shaft for perfect placement of a
No one
6'5"
deserves
human
that.
corpse.
Not even,
Then
nobody
why'd you put
deserves
him
that.
down there?
That's treating that person like a piece of garbage. No one
And
deserves
that's exactly
Why'd
what
you
you did.
pour concrete over it? A week later.
I had already planned on pouring concrete there for a
Oh,
slab.
you could have poured it anywhere else. The boy had to be right there over top where that
No.
body was, didn't it?
No.
Didn't
I
it?
planned it.
Didn't it?
In,
Well, we can't let a damn rotting corpse into our plans to pour that concrete.
Yeah. Well, put put the boat out there, maybe put a big, like,
That's
roof over
Hang on,
it.
hang on.
Put some
Dig a
grills.
fucking hole, bitch. Dig a fucking hole. Hello, James. Why don't you put it here? Because I'm going to pour concrete here anyway. I've already planned the concrete.
We'll just make the most out of it.
What's the
make it
dead
a
corpse underneath it?
patio or something, Park
You
some
could have at
RV
least, like,
stuff on it.
You know, while it was settling, you could have, like, put R.I.P. or put, like, a
maybe
date
a little
or something. It'd be
headstone
like a
or
headstone.
something, R.I.P.
that's
know,
fake.
AS
No one
is-
deserves that.
Well, you were responsible for
No,
it.
I'm not
Yes,
responsible
you were.
for it. You think because of the money I'm responsible for it, but I'm not. That man give me that stuff that he gave
Dee,
me.
I think you're responsible because he's buried under the slab at your house. I think he's responsible because it was your gun. I think you're responsible because you ended up with every damn thing he had. I think you're responsible.
And you moved into his house in Lakeland.
Yeah, you
Well,
were
you
so
did.
distraught you moved into his house in Lakeland that you never paid for.
Well, he won't be using this anymore. Let me just go ahead and move into
He's
it.
not going to need it. Screw it. Let's go.
Back up.
You sold, within a couple weeks, you sold his cars. Oh, hey, he's not going to be using that car anymore. Sure, you like that truck? What the hell? Abe
I am
won't
not
need it.
that sick.
Really?
I am not.
Really? Then what? Tell me your thinking, okay?
You think that?
Abraham was buried on your property April 7th, after he got killed April 6th. April 12th or
And I
13th,
told you
hold
I
on.
was
April
scared,
12th or
and I
13th.
cannot.
Oh, Jesus, I'm scared to death. Oh, God. Stingray, will you take this black one? I'll take that truck over there.
Corvette. Yeah.
Is that something that's scary? Is that a scary thing? Out of fear, you purchased a brand new truck for your boyfriend. I mean, that's your story, right? I can't believe that. That's great. Your Honor, I was scared to death, so that $50,000 truck helped quite a bit.
That car had to be gone because it was in my company name. It's under Abraham Shakespeare, LLC.
Yeah,
So
it had to be gone.
Yeah.
Abraham wasn't going to drive it anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe it had to be gone because it helped along with the story that he was gone. He was missing on his own. Is that right?
Yeah.
You
That helps. That
know
helps
how
some
foolish
validity.
this sounds?
Sure.
This whole thing points to one thing.
Greed.
First degree murder.
it's not greed.
Dee Dee
It's
Moore.
not first degree murder.
Yeah.
You can't get me for first degree
Oh,
murder.
yeah, I can.
Oh,
And yes,
contrary.
we
Yes.
will.
Yes.
And you're gonna get a jury to convict me for first degree murder on something I haven't done.
Dee Dee, I just pointed out a lot of things.
Because
How do you think that
I
jury's...
cover up because y'all kept.
Oh, please. Please, Dee Dee,
I'm
I
getting
swear.
charged with something I didn't even do.
Dee
and you
Dee,
can be
please,
right
when it
about
comes
that.
time, get up on the stand and tell all your stories, because they will eat that shit up.
I mean, the 10, 11 months that the Polk County Sheriff's Office has been conducting this investigation with mounds and boxes full of paper trail, statements from everybody that you're pulling out of the hat. Oh, go talk to this person. You think they haven't already? 5 steps ahead of
How do
you?
you know that those people will tell
The
you the
recordings, everything, the individual, Greg, that you sat there and pointed out where the frickin' body is on your property. Once all this is laid out before a jury, you know what they're going to be doing? Their heads are going to be spinning from so much evidence that is pointed at you.
And I knew that
And they're gonna say,
it's going to point at me. I knew that it's going to
What?
point at me.
Are
That's
you
why I
kidding me?
had to do the cover-up, because I knew it was going to point at me, and it's not fair because I didn't do it.
Oh, instead of let's just take a shortcut and call the cops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, this happened. But instead, he's missing. Let's go out and buy the truck, a Corvette, or a slab.
Well, that's out of fear.
It is out of fear. I mean, buying a Corvette and a truck would probably make me feel a lot better too. I would think. I don't know. And then moving into
Wasn't
his
the
house,
Corvette bought months before it happened?
whatever.
Yeah, actually it was. It was put with that $1 million.
February.
Whatever.
I
There's so many
didn't
cars I
build
can't
$1 million.
keep up with.
No, I
Yeah, you
didn't.
did.
No,
Yeah,
I
you did.
didn't.
Well, that's right. The paintball field that was already there.
Yeah,
That was my investment. The paintball field that I had there.
Hey, what about those little
Must have
scooter, the cooler scooter things?
Mhm.
Was that another?
Is that another little business venture?
That was mine business venture.
When did your mom use that as part of your defense?
I mean,
Well, you can say that was another investment you made.
it's not the truth though.
Well, nothing you say has been the truth. So, you know.
Everything's been.
So in other words, part of the $1 million investment
You
was
don't
something
look
you
at all
already had.
people.
The $1 million investment was something you already had.
That $1 million, he would not go into a bank and put that over into my name.
Dee
He didn't want me to.
Dee Dee, please invest in your thing that you already have. Is that how it went?
No, he wanted a backfield. We were gonna do a backfield.
You didn't do it.
Oh yeah, the field with the tanks and the Army helicopters
Yes,
and
we had
stuff.
done
Yeah.
that.
You were gonna do that, but you didn't. You didn't do that.
But all that was mine
well, why
before
didn't
he
you
even
do it?
came into the picture.
Well, why didn't you do it? So what did you invest in? You didn't invest in nothing. You're right. What did you invest in? A house in Char's name. You invested in
No, the
trucks,
house in
cars,
Charles' name was supposed to be rented out for offices.
trucks, cars.
And they can have all of that.
what
They will
else?
sign
What
it
else?
over to them.
No, you
Backhoe.
already said you would. You know, maybe we would, but you haven't told the truth. Keep
I
your
told
stuff.
them we would sign it all over to
You
them.
know,
They can have all of
Can I
it.
keep my stuff?
No, not that. My physical stuff I came in with. Before Abraham, my stuff, my personal stuff that I came in with because I should be going to jail for something.
We think you meant all
No,
the stuff.
no.
Your
No.
stuff.
No,
Yours.
no.
So why did you come? Why
No.
when you first came to Lakeland? Why'd you tell everybody how the millions of dollars you're a millionaire? I didn't need Abraham's money. I'm a millionaire.
$4 million. I made $4 million.
You knew that was a lie. You knew that was a lie. So you were lying even before you killed Abraham. You were lying. You did. I got numerous people that said that. I didn't need Abraham's money. I had millions of dollars before. We even got it on audio. Out of your own words, your
So
own
I'll go to
voice.
jail for something I've not done.
No, you've done it.
No,
You've
I
done it.
haven't.
I would just like to know why you did it. I'd like to know why you did it, exactly how you did it. That's the only thing here. That's the only thing. Because it's intriguing. It's a hell of a story.
But I didn't.
It's going to play itself out for years to come in the media. There's going to be little shit. Hey, you're going to be halfway famous. You're going to end up on Geraldo or one of them, Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace probably, yeah. They cover stuff like this.
She's going to love this stuff. I think the only reason you got bumped so far is because of the little missing girl up in Jacksonville or something. But you'll make it. You'll make it one of these days.
Yeah.
You're going to be infamous. Unfortunately, I think you wanted to be famous, but now you're going to be infamous.
But I didn't kill him, so.
Dee Dee, you're responsible for his death.
Okay, then charge me for being responsible for his death.
That
But I
will.
didn't
It's,
kill him.
it's going to come in the way of first-degree murder.
That's not fair.
Oh, yes, it is.
No, because that's bribing me to get this name.
Hold on, we've done bribery and
Blackmail, bribery, oh.
What other things can you
Come on, think it's more.
accuse
Think it's
of?
more. Awesome. Mm.
What other charges do you think we might have done? Kidnapped? Have we kidnapped anyone?
No one ever said that to me. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I've never hurt nobody in my life. I would never hurt nobody. Ever hurt anybody.
Are you sure about this? I mean, have you lived anywhere else in the nation or in the state of Florida where you've embezzled money from some unsuspecting victim and then
No, and I know what you're talking about that. It's Kim Potwin, and Kim Potwin was not, she did not. She invested money to start a business with me, and then she started herself
And then you
taking,
left?
no, she was starting herself taking nurses behind my back.
And then you left with
taking the money.
$60,000? Yeah. What about the $100,000 from the cell company or whatever? What about the fire in Plant City with the records and you made a little deal with them? Oh, well, if we just let this go, I won't tell them about the unlicensed nurses you guys were sending out. What about that one? Come on, Dee Dee.
I did not do that.
Oh, bullshit. We've talked all these people. We don't talk to anybody. We never talk to anybody. You guys haven't done anything. Well, you know what? I've neglected my wife for 3 months because of you. So I haven't done anything.
Well, your case is over now, so you should be happy. You'll get to
Oh,
go on
it's
and
not
move.
over.
We've got lots to do. This is just
You
beginning.
ain't the only one going to jail here. Trust me.
Who else is on?
Oh, don't you worry about it.
We're working on it. We've got our eyes on some people.
Don't you worry about it. Mm-hmm. Oh,
worry
but
about
I assure you, you won't feel good about it when it's all said and done.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it.
Yeah.
Don't worry
Because we
about
don't do anything. Don't worry about it. You know, maybe our case would be done if we had the truth. That's true.
Yeah.
But since we don't, we're going to keep going.
Who are you putting in jail?
Don't worry about it. I think we're done today. You ready to go?
Yeah, don't stress yourself out too much.
Just anticipate it.
I know, just tell me when you want me to be here.
I told you, I'll come pick you up.
No, 'cause you want a big show. You're only doing that to show off. You want the media there, you want the pictures.
No.
Okay, we'll see. I'll bet you money you'll have
Hey.
cameras lined up for me to walk into the jail.
You drove that truck, right?